used to listening and watching myself on video because that ex that I was telling you about in Montana, she went to basic military training, and when she left, she asked me to do a video vlog every day. Like at the end of the day, do like a short little 3 minutes, whatever, of like how my day was and like if I was talking to her at the end of the day. So I did, and at the time I was very invested in her, so on some of them I would cry because I was sad and I missed her. When I saw her afterwards, she was like, "Hey, did you end up keeping up with that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did every single day all the way till yesterday because I saw you today, so I'm not doing one tonight." And she was like, "Yeah, delete it. I don't want to see it." And I was like, "Oh, all right, sounds good."
Did you delete it or you kept it?
Well, I was like, before I delete this, let me go back and watch it. And I saw like the first couple minutes of one, and I was like, "Oh, that's cringy."
Yeah.
And then I skipped it. I was like, maybe I got better as a couple days went by. I was like, it's bad. And then I saw another one. I was like, that one's worse. So I was like, all right, I'm deleting all of this.
Yeah.
But what it did do is it got me used to being in front of a camera and listening to myself back, and like it just got me comfortable there. And ever since then, there was no problem with it. So
we'll get used to it very quickly as well,
bro. Very quickly, and then that ties to what we were talking about coming back from tacos. Everything that we've gone through has set us up for what we're getting ready to do.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir.
Josiah, welcome to the studio, dude.
Thank you.
It's a long time coming. I'm excited to have you here. Yeah, man, we're here.
Thank you. Thank you for opening up your studio, and thank you for waiting. I think that's the most thing, right? We've tried
that
to.
That is true. Yeah, we held off on a conversation for a bit. We're just planting seeds, touching points. We're like, all right, wait, hold on. Let's wait.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
man. Not only that, it's more of like the time that it took for us to even book it, right? And thank you for being patient as well. I think that's the most important thing. Your patience.
Likewise, man.
Thank you.
Likewise, because there's when we first like touch base this week, there was a little going back and forth on the times too, and then we were like, all right, cool, earlier, and then I was like, hey man, so it turns out 7:30 is actually perfect. Can we do that? So
it all works out, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, thank you. So let's get to it, man.
Dude. So I'm gonna go to youth group. We'll start there. What's been up with youth group? Yeah, because I remember that was like the last time I got to see you, which I guess we should touch at. Like, I think it's been like a year, maybe.
Yes. So I saw you before a youth service that we were having, and the reason why was because I needed my phone to work. Yeah. Right. So I needed that fixed because I was still on the iPhone 7. And
damn.
I know, man. That was
a while ago.
I didn't want to upgrade, man. You know?
Yeah. Hey, if it works, there's no point. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. I didn't want to spend money either. You know, everything's expensive. But yeah, that's when it was first brought up to me, right? When you mentioned it, and but yeah, I've been a youth leader. Interesting enough, now going on 3 years this February.
Wow.
Yeah.
How cool.
It's cool, frustrating. You can go A through Z, man.
A mix of emotions.
Yeah, dude. It's interesting because it wasn't like I wanted to be a youth leader. Does that make sense? I think even when I had the shop, when I was working the summer camps with the cities, I was a rec leader, but you know, there's differences of age. You do it for a small period of time, and then you go still continue to live your life. Yeah. But now it was more of like, I opened my mouth on volunteering to help, and it's interesting, right? How when we say things, it leads up to where we have to be. I remember at that time we were going out with the young adults. So obviously church, you have the children, you have the youth, you have young adults, and then you have the marrieds, and then adults, women, and then 60 and plus, right? I remember I was frustrated with myself in the aspect of I was transitioning more of I had left what I had left and returned to church, and I was looking for something to keep me having fun and keep me not from returning to where I was. And one of the ideas that came up was, let's go out with the young adults, right? So what I would do is I would buy tickets for like worship concerts. Nice. And I remember, my parents were co-pastors in a church in South Central. I followed them in 2021, and we'll get to that a little bit more. But when I followed them, it was interesting how I'm probably gonna lose some out, right? But Fast forward. I invited one of the young adults to our outing, and then a week passed by, and she's like, "Dude, like, I need help with the youth." And at this time, there was no youth group at all. And I was like, "Dude, I'll help you out." But in my thought, it was more of like, we're gonna do like a small activity, and they're gonna go on with their lives, and that's it, you know. So she's like, "You really want to help?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll help." Like I've been around youth, I've been around kids, and I'm someone who likes to do things, and yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So she brought it up to Pastor, and Pastor was like, "You want to help?" I was like, "Yeah, Pastor, I'll help." But in my head, I'm just like, "Okay, I'm just gonna help."
They just need me for this one time.
Yeah, there's nothing there, right?
Yeah.
I can go home, right? Mm-hmm. It comes up, and then he's like, "I'm gonna introduce you to the church, the congregation that you're gonna be with the youth." I'm like, "Okay, cool." He brings us both up, and he's like, "To the whole church, these are the youth leaders now." And I'm like,
I was like, "Wait, huh?" I said, "Wait."
Yeah, I was like, "What?" He said, "You guys are the youth leaders now." In our religion, when you get a leadership position, you're anointed with oil. So what he has all the leaders come around, they pray for us, and then he anoints us with oil. So that means it's like solidified that you're the youth leader now. Nobody else can take it from you. You can walk away from it, but you have to make the decision to walk away from it. So at that time, it was more of like, I remember I was like, what did I get myself into? Like, I just wanted to help, you know? Now I'm a youth leader. I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no concept of how to build a youth ministry. And we, boom, went at it. You know, I grew up in a church that had a youth ministry, but I had sort of a concept of how to do things. It was just more of like, okay, I give you this now you got to walk on your own and you got to figure it out.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, and it was very hard, man.
I bet.
Yeah. And yeah, again, we started off with 3 youth. I remember first class, 3 youth. We were outside. A small church in South Central, and it probably wasn't wise for us to be outside because it's just so much going on, you know? People are passing by, cars are flying. It's insane. And we just started building. We had a class every 2 weeks, and then it was like, you know what, dude, like we need to have class every week. We have to be constant. We have to have something for them so that they themselves like know that there's something there.
Yeah.
Again, they never had it. They never, or there was youth leaders that were there that would start something, but then it became hard.
Fall off.
And they fell off. And one of the main reasons why was the people that they were choosing, either they were not in the age of being able to give everything, right? Or they had families, or they had wives or husbands, where they were like, okay,
other responsibilities.
I can't do this all the way.
Yeah.
For myself, bro, that was a free bird.
Yeah,
I was
doing you.
Yeah, I didn't want to go back to what I was doing before, so I was like, church is my home. I want to be here Friday, Saturday, Sunday if I have to be here.
And you said you wanted to help.
And I wanted to help.
And they said, I know where you could help.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be here and you want to help? I got a spot for you.
Brother, they tied me up, brother. I kept me in there.
That's so funny, dude. That's so funny. Talking about time and place, right?
Yeah, man, yeah. So, yeah, this was in 2023, February, when I took the... I don't remember the exact dates, but...
That makes sense. Because I was thinking, like, last time we talked, it was about a year ago, and you're like, I'm about to do youth group.
Yeah.
And I was like, bet.
Yeah.
And cool. That's cool.
Insane, man. So, yeah, that happened, and we started seeing the youth themselves being available for youth ministry, for youth class. So we were having 4, we were having 5, 6, 7. We ended up getting about 20 in a Sunday.
Wow.
Which was like, wow, we really did something. You know, we were allowed to do something.
Yeah.
And I look back at it, man, I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Because I again, when people are like, dude, you're in ministry, I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you want to be? I was like, dude, I never wanted to be this, man.
The animosity. Like, for real, bro?
Yeah. And it's interesting. So, and this is what I wanted to talk to you now. It's like, where I'm at now, right? I'm at Biola.
Nice.
At Biola University. I transferred from Cerritos.
Very cool.
Biola is a private Christian university, right?
Yeah.
And most people there, they long to want to be in ministry. And I sit there and I'm just like, I'm like, dude, I don't think you guys want to do this. Like, you know, it's not as easy as it seems.
Yeah.
And people will ask me, it's like, do you want to be? I'm like, no, dude, I never wanted to be. Like, I'm here because God called me to be, and I accepted, and I took on the responsibility the best that I could, and he molded me throughout the whole process. But going back to the youth ministry, in these last 3 years, I've also been able to coordinate. So I've also been a youth coordinator with about maybe like 4 or 5 churches when we have youth services. Or like, the thing is, it's we want the youth to have something fun, right?
Makes sense.
Why I walked away from church when I was younger was because church was boring, dude.
Yeah.
It was boring. Just go to Sundays, clap your hands.
Sit there and listen to the dude talk, and then I stand up and chant, and then I get on my knees, and then we sit, and then we leave.
And you go home, and there's nothing there. And then you tell me your friends invite you from school, you want to party on a Friday night? Or go to church.
Fun, dude.
What do?
I'm gonna go party.
I partied myself, you know? So one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to keep the youth in church. Because I've seen things that I think, or I got to places in life that I didn't want them to be at. And we'll get to that, but it's I didn't want them to live what I lived.
Yeah.
So it was more of like, the responsibility is to keep them at church, to mold them correctly, and to not allow them to step into the places that you stepped into. And that's what I still continue to live by, dude. And right now I returned to my home church, so I left South Central. I'm still with the youth. I'm a youth leader. I'm not the youth leader anymore, but now I'm in charge of the young adults. So now I'm the young adults leader. And it's interesting how I'm just going stages and stages and working with different mindsets. I would say mainly because ages are different and mindsets are completely different.
Yep.
But being around the youth is, I would say, keeps me young.
I bet,
dude, because these kids are insane, man.
You gotta know all the new lingo, huh? Just to understand them.
I don't know what they said one time. They were like, what the Sigma? And I said it.
Bruh.
I was like, what is that? And they all looked at me and they was like, don't ever say that again. I was like, okay.
All right.
I don't know what that means till this day.
I think I would legitimately just go hysterical. I could not stop laughing if I heard it in person because I see it on the reels on Instagram all the time. Some of them are funny. What is the brain rot memes or whatever? Some of them are really funny, and some of them you're just like super cringe.
Yeah.
You move on. You're like, all right, but it's crazy to remember that actually is the language that's being used with the young kids. But I can also remember when I heard cap become a thing. No cap. Oh, cap,
dude. Yeah.
And I was like, cap? Why cap?
Yes, sir.
I was like, well, no cap means you're not lying.
Yeah.
Just say no lie. We used to say no lie all the time. Why you change it?
Yeah.
But I guess you got to be able to feel like your own little movement of people, your own generation, right?
Everybody has their own words, it's insane.
It's so funny. What's the biggest difference between working with youth and young adults?
I think with young adults, it's it depends. Youth are much more open to learning new things as compared to a young adult, because a young adult is an adult, so it's very hard for them to accept things very quickly.
Yeah,
I'd say
they already kind of have a preconceived notion of the way things work or the way they have to move through life.
That's the thing. And I've seen that mainly at Biola. This is our first year that we're starting the young adults. Our youth ministry has young adults, and you can see the difference of how their minds are, the conversations you can have with them, what you can't have with them, the separation that you have to keep when there's a 12-year-old in youth ministry. It's like, okay, boys, just move away. You can't hear that. But I'd say, it's youth are much more accepting, of learning new things. It's easier for them to understand, okay, this is something new. Let's go ahead, as compared to as a young adult. Because I myself, as a young adult, would be like, that's not the way I want to do it. I want to do it my way. I would say that's the biggest difference, man. And one of the things, transportation will be another one too, man. These youth don't drive, so you got to pick them up, or
or they ain't coming.
We usually coordinate transportation, but that's another big factor. And we can go on and on, but I think the biggest one is the mindset.
Yeah.
Of where they're at in life and where they're going to be, and it's insane, man. It's good to be there because you get to learn a lot about yourself as well. You know,
I bet. That's something I was also pondering right now. I was curious. I was like, how has working with all these kids, guiding them through life, helped you? Because ultimately, helping them does help you, right?
Yeah.
There's a big saying that, like, a lot of the times, the people that get really good at things are teachers because, sure, they got really good at doing, but then they're teaching the practice as well to a new mind that's receiving fresh information. You get to look at it in different ways.
Yes, sir. For myself, I'd say I was a very impatient person before. Very impatient, dude. And now it's more of, you have to understand where the youth is coming from. You have to understand, and there's a lot of things that you need to understand. You need to understand whether they come from a good home or not, or if they have both parents at home, where they grew up, where do they go to school, do they sleep at night, are they worried about what they're going to eat? So there's a lot of aspects on how you have to treat someone, especially at a very vulnerable age. Because as youth leaders, or even as leaders in that age, or as teachers, you can either make or break a youth. And at that time, it's your responsibility to know what you're going to say and how you're going to say something, because you can either make them or break them.
Yeah.
And I look at myself, and I'm someone who, for a very long time, was more of like me, narcissistic, right? And what I've learned in my walk in ministry has been, it's just being like Christ. Christ was humble. He was compassionate. He had the title to act narcissistic, but he never did. And that's what I've learned myself, is the patience and the humbleness, and being compassionate with the youth, which eventually translates with everybody else as well. But yeah, man, I've had to learn a lot about myself and how I would come across, and I've had to learn how to be able to accept that I've messed up and apologize at that moment. There was one instance where, and I remember I apologized to the youth, and I told them, I was like, dude, if I disrespected you, I'm sorry. But I was tired, man, and I remember it was, I had worked, at this time I was working at a bakery, and in the bakery, you have about 3 or 4 big ovens that are going at like 350, 400 degrees. So you're coming out of it dehydrated. Yeah. Horrible dehydrated.
It's rough.
It's insane,
not fun environments.
We had a youth service by Six Flags, and I remember it very vividly, where I got off of work. I had to go to church, pick up the kids. I didn't eat. Went to a youth service. I was like, I was dizzy,
delirious,
dehydrated.
Yep. Body was ready to shut down on you.
Yep. It was 11 p.m. It's time to go home. We had agreed with the parents that they were going to come pick up the kids at church.
Guess who didn't come?
Parents. And that was one of the things I was like, dude, like, I can't take you home, bro, because now I have to go the wrong direction. But that was my mistake, right? Like, I didn't realize it at that very moment, because I was very frustrated. I was like, dude, I left my house at 6 a.m. to go to work, be there at 8 a.m. I came, I haven't ate. I'm tired. I'm dehydrated. It's about like 12 now. I just want to go home. Like, now I have, and the thing is, like, maybe you should have told me before I got to church, so I could have dropped you off, made it, the detour, dropped you off, and then just came back to church and dropped everybody else off. But they're youth. Yeah. Their minds are everywhere. Right? They're not thinking. So at that, I remember, and I got scolded because my mother was like, why would you do that? And I was like, 'cause I'm tired. And she was like, you're forgetting that they're your responsibility. It doesn't matter what you're feeling. You are in charge of them. And that next service, service was on Friday. Saturday, I was like, just thinking about it. I was like, dude, like, I have to apologize, man. I have to. And then Sunday comes, and the other youth leader had a class, and then I was like, hey, man, his name was Danny. I was like, Danny, I need to talk to you. He's like, am I in trouble? I was like, no, dude, I got to apologize to you. So we went into our youth, excuse me, we went into our youth class, and I told him, I was like, Danny, I just want to apologize to you if I disrespected you on Friday night. He's like, why? I was like, dude, because it was disrespectful not wanting to take you home when I should have taken you home. I'm glad we were able to coordinate for you to get a ride home, because he got a ride home. He didn't walk home.
Yeah.
That would have been worse, man. But I was like, man, like I really messed up, you know. And in those moments, you have to, because it's happened to me. It's happened to me when you know you're right, and as a youth too, even with my old youth leaders, you know you're right, but then that adult just doesn't care about you. Like he's just like, no, well, that's what happens. That's what happens.
Yep. Whatever happened. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I also walked away from church when I was younger, right? Like that's why I was like, church. This is how church is. I don't want anything about this. So yeah, I remember, and that's one of the things, man. It's taking accountability of accountability of the things that you do. Mm-hmm. Being able to grasp and understand that these are kids still, man, and they got so much going on, and unfortunately, you're gonna have those parents who aren't responsible, but then the responsibility falls on you because you got called to ministry. You know, exactly. Yeah, that's what I've learned, man. It's been insane. Yeah,
it seems like a lot.
Yeah,
a crazy roller coaster, and that's just the kids.
That's just the kids, brother.
This is we started with. It's been a interesting couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yes, sir, man. If
it's one of my favorite words.
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, yeah, God's been good, man. And this year we have plans for more for the youth. I'm very grateful that the church that I'm at now, I don't have the sole responsibility of being the main leader, where I can take a step back and work on other things that the Lord has me, but still be involved with the youth.
Yeah.
Right. Still be there, and it's awesome, dude. I've made great friends in different churches, and again, we have another couple of youth service coming over, and nice. The kids are ready. They're like, dude, when's the next one? When's the next one?
That's good.
And they're active, man. They keep us on our toes, and that's the best thing.
Yeah. But seems like you've put a lot of effort into building a good community for the people around you. Can I ask, when you were younger, did you feel like well, I mean, obviously you said you left the church, so I'll guess the answer is no, but did you feel like there was a place that you could go to just hang out that felt like a safe space?
At church.
At church? Okay.
Absolutely not, man.
Oh, no, like in general?
In general?
Like, there was nowhere for you to go?
This is where it gets interesting. This is where my life gets very interesting. I think our home, even in our home, it was very rocky.
Okay.
But it was rocky because we went through a very big trauma, and we never got to heal correctly as a whole family.
I see. Everybody kind of did their own thing to deal with what was going on.
We were able to heal, I wouldn't say recently, but years after, even after I was 18 or 19, right? Because I myself healed through it when I was 21.
Gotcha.
But our family we're six. We got mom, dad. We got myself, who's oldest, my brother Jose, who's still alive. And then I have my brother Josue, who's not here with us anymore. And then we got my sister after. But my brother Josue, he was a premature child, and he never lived more than 7 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So we lived at the hospital every single day, and that was our priority. Like we were there. He was born on July 7th, so we share the same birthday, which makes it worse, dude. It's insane.
Yeah.
Let's start there, man. I remember when he was born, my old pastor, his wife, actually, she was like, "Oh, you got the best present someone can get on their birthday." I was like, "What?" Like, your brother. I was like, "Oh yeah, my brother." Huh? And my first thought, I kid you not, was like, actually no, because I have to share my birthday now, and that's not cool.
Yeah.
And that was my first thought. I was 10, dude.
Same. My sister's a week before me, so I get it.
You understand, right? It's one birthday party for everyone,
bro. The year she came, I celebrated my birthday a month earlier because my mom was like, "I don't know if we'll be home for your birthday, so it's in July this year." And I was like, "Okay." Yeah. And then after that, my sister got extravagant birthday, and then we'd go to dinner for mine.
Yeah,
so I feel it.
Well, yeah, man. Well, mines are not taking anything away from yours, but mine,
I mean,
man,
yeah,
it's insane what happens when we don't heal, right? So, he passed away in February 15th, 2007, And again, every day we were always at the hospital, which we didn't understand how bad it was, and it took us a long time to understand it.
You were 10 at the time?
I was 10. Yeah. So he was born in 2006. I was born in 1996. So we had a 10-year gap. So right now I'm 28. My brother would be 18. Yeah, it's interesting. It's always engraved in there, you know.
You said 96. We're born the same year?
Yes.
No shit.
Yeah.
I always thought you were older than me.
No, brother, we're the same year.
That's crazy. Yeah. Anyways,
all good. Yeah. So what happened there was, and I will never understand, and I pray to the Lord that whenever He allows me to have a family, children, that I don't ever get to witness what it is to lose a child, right? Mm-hmm. It got to a point where it was prohibited to speak on my brother at home, but because there was no real healing yet, right?
Just the name would bring up pain.
Mm-hmm. And I remember one instance where I would tell my mom, I was like, because my birthdays were always at the cemetery. We had 2 cakes. We got you a cake. You know, we got your brother a cake. So that made it for me very hard to even speak to mom and dad in that aspect, because I also didn't heal, you know. But now as I got older, I understood that it took. Hey, it must. I mean, I know they've healed now, but it's still in the back of their heads, you know. And but it must have been very traumatizing. And I understand why they didn't want us to speak on it. So yeah, when I was from 10 to 18, there was no real space where I could be like, this is where I feel comfortable at. Which led up to me making very bad decisions at 18 and 19, which we will get to that. But it all started when I was 12. I was an 8th grader, and I remember this very vividly. I didn't fit in with anybody. But there's always one group you fit in with. Mm-hmm. Baggy shirts, high socks, Cortezes.
They'll take you.
They'll take you in, bro. They took me in.
Bro. That's familia right there, bro.
Yeah. They took me in, man. And I felt like I belonged after a long time.
Yeah.
And I like to say stories. I'm sorry if I don't follow the thing, but
that's okay.
One of the biggest factors that I like to mention is, so my brother was, when I was in the 5th grade, my brother was, when he passed away. In the 6th grade, I was still with my soccer friends. 7th grade, my mother was like, I don't want you to go to this school, so I'm going to send you to a different school. So that bond of friends, boom,
gone.
Out the window. New school, I don't know what I'm doing. 7th grade was cool because I was just like a little nerd.
Yeah.
But 8th grade, I needed to feel like I belonged. So that's what that decision was made, right? And that's what led me there. And you know, you start doing your dumb things, you start fighting, and you start. It got
you gotta
to
show them you're tough,
dude. Yeah, body shots.
Yeah, let's go body, bro.
Boop.
Yeah.
Janitor walks in, you're just like, nothing happened, you know.
I slipped.
Everywhere. Yeah,
slipped. He caught me.
Yeah. I had a really, and I think that's why God has me with the youth, dude, because I went through a lot, man, and I don't. It happens, you know. People go through it.
Yeah.
People have gone through worse, and that's life. But yeah, so I found a group that I fit in with, and I made one mistake that made me feel like I was the king of the world, and that mistake led up to making the most horrible mistake that I would say that I made at 19. The first mistake was obviously joining. The second one was, at that time when you wanted some type of flower, weed, right? Like it was hard to find, man. But if you knew someone, guess what? You struck gold.
Yep.
Right. And I remember that one time, one of my friends, it was a blunt. It was a purple kush, right? It was the biggest thing back at that time.
Purple kush.
He's like, here, dude, go sell it $10. I was like,
oh,
I'm gonna make $10.
Oh, like, interesting. It wasn't, hey, smoke this. Crazy. All right.
This is where it's gonna get. You're gonna.
Yeah, it gets interesting.
Brother, it gets horrible. I don't even know how I'm alive. I do know the Lord is great. He's very merciful.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. And again, my as there is vivid indicators that you are part of this type of group. Just by the way you dress, by the way you talk. So my mother was already like, what's going on with my child? What's going on with my child? She tried to put me in a boot camp. I was like, Dad, no. Dad's like, no, he's not going to boot camp. And my dad was working, man. Like, great man. Both of my parents are great.
Yeah.
But at that time, I spent most of my time with my mom. My mom's she's very observant. She's very loving. So she's constantly there, right? But sometimes not the correct way. And again, I mentioned there was no healing. So there was like always like that bickering of going back and forth. And I would hold that against her. I was like, well, you don't even love me because you still do this. And I'm here, and my brother's not here. So I held on to a lot of things. And I take responsibility on that as well. But so this opportunity comes, right? And I remember he gave it to me in the beginning of school before you go to your class. I was an 8th grader. And he was like, just, this person needs it. Go get the money, and you got it. I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Not knowing that by lunchtime. So I sold it in the beginning of lunch.
Okay.
Right? Not knowing that my mother herself, and this is why I love my mama. She called the cops on me.
What?
Yeah. She was like, I don't know what's going on, but I want the cops to take you out of school and make you realize that what you're doing and where you're going is incorrect. But what she didn't know at that time was that action that I committed prior, because obviously I sold it.
Yeah.
Their intercom, Josias, come to the office. Okay, let's go to the office. I'm like, something happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cops there. He was like, I'm here to take you. I was like, did someone snitch on me?
Right? That would be your first thought, yeah.
And I'm like, here, I got nothing. I had nothing anymore, right?
Yeah, I was already gone.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to say that you just sold it.
Brother, I didn't say no. I got nothing.
You don't know what's happening.
And he goes, I'm here to pick you up. He's like, you know who called me? I was like, no. It's like, your mom called me. She wants me to pick you up.
Bro.
So for me, what they didn't know at that time, it was the rush that I had, that I was able to sell something and not get caught. They put me in the back of the cop car. Everybody saw me. I'm walking out like a movie star, brother. Walking out like a movie star. Damn. Everybody sees me. They had me on. I don't remember if they put handcuffs on me, but they put me in the back of the car. They take me to the station, and I the only thing that I can remember for all the conversation I had with the police officer was, you don't even know what I did, and I didn't even get caught. I'm here in front of you, and you ain't got nothing on me.
Damn.
And he's like, and it stayed with me. It planted that seed where when I returned to Artesia High, and I met up with my soccer friends, I had a decision to make. It's like, do I want to continue being part of this like the gangster group or go play soccer? I made the wise decision of playing soccer, but now my fascination wasn't in being a gangster. It was more of like, I'm in love with making this money and being part of this life, or knowing more of this life. Because at this time, it's like,
dude,
it wasn't as big as it is now.
Yeah,
right?
No, that was like the breaking ground of the time. That was the happening of weed,
of everything.
That's true. Yeah, of everything. Actually, you're right. Yeah.
Bro. And it was insane because I remember years would go by, and culture has a lot of impact in what we do. And I remember I used to watch these like narco series, right? These I think it was El Señor de los Cielos. It's on Televisión or Telemundo.
Yeah.
And I was just fascinated, bro. I wasn't fascinated about any of the. I was just fascinated of I would say of the power and the luxury someone could have, and yet get away with a lot of things. And it fascinated me. And I would talk about it with my friends, and I was like, one day I'm gonna be there. And I would tell them, one day I'm gonna be there. You're gonna work for me. And this is insane. And this is what I'm talking about.
Damn, son.
Yo. Yeah, man, it gets really bad. So this is where I'm telling you, right? Like the conviction that the Lord gave me this week that we talked about earlier was, there's no need for us to be afraid on sharing our testimonies, right?
Yeah.
Despite the repercussions, this is already past, but one of the biggest fears of myself is, man, I look back at it and I'm just like, dude, I really did all that stuff, and it's insane. But again, I was working at the swap meet during that time as well, so I was making money. I was still not in that quote unquote life, but when I was 18 is when we put the shop in Hawaiian Gardens. And when we put the shop in Hawaiian Gardens, that location itself was very
It's like Latino heavy.
Correct, pero había mucho tránsito. How do you say that in English? Transit,
like of cars, traffic.
Yeah.
Was it like foot traffic?
There was a lot of foot
Like,
traffic.
yeah.
There you go. So for me, in my head, it was like, this is the spot here. You know, I thought about it like to the future, like a whole different type of thing. So what happened there was,
dude, what's fucking nuts is that
you didn't know none of this.
Yeah. At the time when we met you, we were like, oh shit, fucking, we got another repair dude like down the street. That's fucking cool. Yeah, he's a young dude. He's setting up shop. Fucking dope. We just thought it was like, yeah, another dude in the repair game. All right.
Yeah.
And you're over here like, this is going to be the fucking front to my empire. This is how I'm going to get my fucking shit done. That's crazy, bro.
Insane, man. And I remember it was interesting because even now, if we look at like the weed game, it's up for grabs for anyone. It's not even, I wouldn't call it a thing where it's you have to be cautious of anybody because everybody is like it's open. But at that time, it wasn't, right?
Oh,
it was
dude. If they knew where you were growing, you fucking better not be there.
Yep.
And if you were, you're probably getting lit up, honestly.
Yeah, no, trust me, man. It was insane. So one of the things was, I remember correctly, and I knew it was going to become a problem. The weed was going to become a problem because it's very smelly. So one time I had it at the shop and it just reeked. And I was like, okay, I can't have this, man. Like I in that time I was like, I have something legit and I'm gonna have something that's not legit. And I was like, dude, this is dying it. So I stepped away for a bit, and then apparently you start to gain a rep, right? You start being around friends, and then they're like, oh, this guy knows a lot of people. I remember vividly, man. We're doing some things at the shop. I was good, man. I was like, okay, we're just gonna be legit now. It was gonna be great. But then I get a call from one of my friends, and he's like, hey, dude, somebody wants to talk to you.
Damn.
And I was like, who? He's like, this and this. And I was like, and how I remember, I was anxious and I was nervous. So I was like, damn, dude, they're gonna offer me something, because I already knew what they were in, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I'll pick you up. I was like, you sure? I was like, yeah. I was like, all right, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna go hear him out. And I remember I was scared, dude. I was like, I'm gonna say no, bro. Like, I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna be part of any of this. Like, because now we're talking about a whole different game, right? And then he brings me to the, and the whole way out there, I was like, I'm saying no. And my friend's hyping me up. He's like, oh, they're gonna call you. They're gonna call you. And I was like, dude, I don't want to be part of this. I'm shaking,
dude.
And we get there. Yeah, man. They come out and they talk to me and they're like, hey, dude, like, we heard that you know a lot of people, and we want you to come work with us. I kid you not, Eric. Everything in me wanted to say no. I don't know why I said yes. So the first thing that came out of my mouth was like, yes, I'll do it. At that like my mouth was not saying what my mind wanted to say. So I'd said yes. It was I was 19, dude. I didn't know what I got myself into. I was like, damn, man.
What was the feeling that, like, what was the feeling that you had after you told him, like, you heard the words yes come out of your mouth while thinking no? What ran through your brain, and like, what were you feeling?
I don't think I was feeling, man. I don't think there was anything. Nothing hit me until 2 days after. Nothing. Until that moment, I didn't know it was real yet. I didn't understand the level of commitment that comes from being or saying yes to something like this. Because it was on a Wednesday. Thursday comes and I'm just chilling. I'm working the shop. Everything's cool. Friday comes. He's like, but he told me Wednesday, like, come here Friday, like at 2 o'clock or 3 p.m. and I'm gonna give you something. Cool. It didn't hit me until I arrived, and he hands me one of those flip phones. He goes, boom.
Oh.
Here's a bag. You're gonna answer the phone and just say that you're with me. You're gonna tell you where to drive. You're gonna drop it off. You're gonna get the money, And at the end, after you sell everything, you're going to come give me my money and I'm going to give you your money. I was like, okay, cool. So I remember vividly, dude. It's still like, once I had it in my hand, I was like, it was like adrenaline, but at the same time, it still didn't. I felt like, is this really real? It didn't hit me. It hit me when I had to answer the phone. It was one of those flip phones, man.
A little burner.
Yeah. When I had to answer the phone and I had to drive and meet people I didn't know. And at the beginning, they were even questioning me. It was like, are you sure? You sure you're with this person? I was like, yeah, dude, I'm with this person. I'm like shaking, bro. I'm dropping things off. And I remember I stayed up till like maybe 1 a.m. Because I went from weed to coke.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. I was like, when did you start moving? Because
coke, bro, that was the coke.
That's what I thought. That's crazy. Did you ever try your supply, or you stayed away from? You stayed off that shit.
We're gonna get there, and it was bad.
All right,
it was bad.
All right,
because
bro,
I was doing this for almost 7 years, and there's when people tell you that there's levels to this.
I guess I'm about to understand tonight.
Yeah, man. And
Jesus,
it was, brother. It was bad. So I started off with 20s and 40s, right? The sacks. They were already pre-made. I just had to boom, boom, boom. Answer it. That night, I went home, and I had the phone in my hand, and I had the stuff in my hand, and all I remember was I started crying. I was like, "What the did I do? Like, what did I get myself into?" I just remember my body is shaking, and I'm just sitting there in my bed with the phone, and I'm like, what did I do? Like, I already committed to this. I already did it. What did I do? And at that moment, like, I'm like tearing up, and I put myself in it and pull myself out of it. I'm like, well, you have two choices. Either you go back and you deal with the consequences and you say no, or you man up. And fulfill.
Yeah, get the job done and find a way to get out.
But at that time, for me, I wasn't, for the first time in a long time, I wasn't only thinking about myself. I was thinking about my family as well.
Yeah.
And I thank the Lord that I ended up with the people that I ended up with, because they are family oriented as well. But at that time, I didn't know. I was like, dude, if I go and say something, is something gonna happen to my family? Like my sister, bro. Like, I love this little girl. You know, like I don't hurt me, don't hurt her. But you don't. At that moment, I didn't understand what I understood till later. It was just nothing but fear. And
you were still thinking about that power.
Oh, dude, that gets to the air. That comes later. And it's interesting, dude, because I remember Saturday happens and phone starts blowing up again, and I'm just like, okay, I'm a little more eased out now. I'm all right. I'm crying, but I got like those $20 bills, $40 bills. It's cool.
you counting with your tears, so it's fine.
I mean, it's cool. But it was scary, man. At the beginning, I till this day I have PTSD in the aspect of, like, I'm always seeing if somebody's like
over your shoulder.
Dude, yes.
That's funny. I've only, that I know of at least, I've only had one other friend that sold for a period of time. Still to this day, same thing for her. She's like, I always have this feeling that like somebody's watching me, or like following.
It's a horrible feeling, because it got to the point where it was really, really bad, dude. Because again, obviously, as you start leveling up, it gets worse. And then you start sleeping less because you start touching your own stuff as well, which is insane. Don't ever. You know?
It's always fun when you think somebody's following you. Like, you're driving, you're like, okay, this car has gotten off the freeway with me. They've taken the last 3 turns with me.
Yes, sir.
I know you do.
Yeah, it's a horrible feeling, man. It's horrible. But yeah, dude. So again, I'm 19 and I'm scared out of my mind, but I'm seeing the money, man, and it's easy enough the fear in a way. I don't touch anything for a long time. It's probably like a year or two, and I don't remember why exactly, or I think I know actually do. Obviously, there's money, and you start buying things that you never had when you were a child. And I'm like, I got the brand new kicks, I got everything, I got everything, man. And there's nothing anymore that you can buy that's gonna gratify you anymore. There's a certain limit where you start losing value for money, and you don't understand what it is to build up to something and buy something and have that feeling of like, oh, I put my time into this. I'm able to buy it. Now I'm gonna enjoy it. Everything was meaningless, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was like, I was like, why not? Like, I'm making money. Why not just touch this? So I started hitting rails, man.
You went straight to rail, no bump?
The bumps are whack, dude.
Oh, okay. This is quite interesting. I've never done coke. I stayed away from. I watched Scarface.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do coke.
Okay.
Now I go do my physical for my my sophomore year of high school in soccer. Which, really quick, did you end up playing on the Artesia team?
I did. So I know you know Leo, right?
Osorio?
I believe so. His mom is dating my coach, one of my coaches.
Probably that one.
He plays with his left foot.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's him.
Lionel.
Yeah, Lionel. Yes. I know you.
Yeah, I knew him as Leo, and then after high school, he was like, "I'm Lionel." I was like, "For sure."
Yeah.
Respect.
But yeah, we ended up playing, and I believe we played against you guys as well.
No, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, now I need to know what fucking team you played on. I was like, did I ever?
Yeah.
JV, varsity?
I did JV, frosh off, because at that time we had so many players, and then our senior year was varsity.
Okay, so sophomore and junior year, what teams were you on?
It was JV, if I remember correctly.
No, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We played each other.
Most likely, dude.
No, like one, because I played
100%,
JV,
right?
100%.
Okay.
I played
Yeah.
you, but I didn't know.
Small world.
Bro, so junior year, Artesia, Mayfair at Artesia home.
Mm-hmm.
First 5 minutes, one of your guys twisted an ankle because the goalie bodied out, so the ball went to a goal kick. Do you remember that?
Right winger?
So
your left side? I know one of our wingers messed up their ankle. Was that you?
I did that.
I know who that was. Hey, Hernan, if you're hearing this, I apologize, brother. But
this is so funny. Holy shit! Because I remember that play specifically because the ball went long, and I called my defenders off because I was like, I'm just gonna body him and let the ball go to a goal kick. And I bodied him, and then there was no challenge after that. I guarded, and I looked back, and he was on the floor holding his foot, and I was like,
yeah,
okay. And then that was it for him.
Yeah,
I was like, okay,
I remember
cool.
that game. I started off the bench, I believe so.
Funny.
Thanks,
Same, bro. I was bench until I told them I played goalie, and they were like, "The fuck are you doing on the bench? Go get a goal!" And I was like, "Okay." And I went and
started from there.
Yeah, and then I was a starter. So yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting times, man. But yeah, I remember that game vividly because
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
small world,
crazy.
dude.
Yeah. Sorry, that totally derailed everything. We're fucking Cocaine. Yeah. Okay. So, sophomore year, I go do a physical, and the doctor's like, okay, for the most part, everything is cool, but you have high blood pressure. And I was like, what does that mean? She was like, well, you have the blood pressure of a 65-year-old man. And I said, that's not good, right? And she was like, no, not at all. She goes, do you have history of diabetes or heart attack or like all these things in your family? And I was like, I think one of my grandpas had diabetes, and then I was like, I know my dad has high blood pressure. She was like, okay, well, not to alarm you, but the only thing that I could really think this is like a heart disease, and you might only have like 3 or 4 weeks to live.
Oh.
And I was like, huh? She was like, yeah, you're gonna have to come back tomorrow for testing. And I was like, okay. So. Or it was like in a couple of days, because I remember I went to school, I didn't tell anybody nothing, and then I went and did all the tests. She was like, bring an iPod with you. She was like, bring something to entertain yourself, because you're gonna be here a long time. And I didn't tell nobody nothing, because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna die, so why tell anyone anything? I go do all the tests. They ultrasound like all my kidneys, I was in an ultrasound room from like 11 to 6 p.m. And by the end of the thing, they had like gelled up my whole torso area and scanned me, and I had gone through my iPod twice, bro. And then they were like, all right, we'll give you a call in like a couple days once we've gone over everything. And they call, and they're not like, you're good. They go, you should come in so we can talk to you. And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
So now I don't go to school. I go to the hospital with my mom, and my doctor's sitting there looking at the paperwork, and she goes, "Yeah, this is really weird. We don't know. All the blood work came back like the best that we've ever seen. He's totally fine. What we did find is that he has slightly larger lungs and heart than normal, typically seen in endurance athletes. So your heart is just contracting a little extra hard, forcing more blood through your veins." And I was like, "So what does that mean?" And she goes, "Don't ever stop exercising, and don't ever do anything that makes your heart pump harder than it should." Yeah. And I was like, "So no cocaine?" And my mom was like, "Eric," and she was like, "Exactly. Don't do cocaine. You'll probably give yourself a heart attack." Yeah. And I was like, "Fuck."
Those things are real, man.
Yeah. So she told me that, and after that, I was like, "All right, even though I love the look of snow, bro," and I got it's down, bro. Like I got it, like I got the sniff ready and everything, but it'll kill me. So I stay away.
Yeah, man, stay away from that thing.
So you skipped bumps and went straight to rails.
Yeah, it was because the people I was around with. So I was 19.
Okay.
And the people that I was around with, they were older, dude. They were 28, 29.
Mm-hmm. So they've already been pretty coked up.
Yeah, man. They
ran through that shit.
I was like, I just want to warm up. They're like, "Nope, come in. You're playing. That's it."
Jeez,
I was
dude.
like, damn. So that's how it started for me, man. And I remember it was like nothing made me happy anymore. So it was more of like, and again, I had left church by like 17. Like I was angry at God because he took my brother. Mm-hmm. I was angry at God because nothing was going the way I wanted it to be. So I was angry at God because church was boring. And I was like, I want nothing to do with you. Boom. Mm-hmm. Money's making me happy. Money's bringing the women. Money's buying me these stuff. I idolized money.
Every decision I've made without you, look where it's gotten me.
Which seasons, man. But I regret it and I don't regret it because it's allowed me to be who I am, right? Everything leads to where we are now.
Same. I could say the same thing. There's things that I would have changed in my past, probably would have done them differently, but I can't. That's all speculation now. Yeah. So you accept it. And
you move on.
Yeah. It's why we are who we are.
It's why we are who we are. Yes, sir. Amen. So going back to that, right? Nothing was making me happy, man. I had everything I wanted. And I remember for me, I was dating this one girl who at that time I didn't know she was also on blow. I just knew that she couldn't drink. And I remember we used to get hotels, man. So we used to get hotels either Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I just wanted somebody to be up with me drinking.
Damn, just straight benders, bro.
Bad, dude.
Crazy.
And she would hang, and then later on I found out that she was also doing it. But that's when it started becoming a big problem because I was like, okay, now I get to do how much blow I want because I got everything. Mm-hmm. I can buy all the bottles or drinks that I want, and I get to be with this girl all night. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna have fun all night till the next day. Mm-hmm.
Money, drugs, and women. What more do you want, bro? Come on.
I love me my women. No, I don't. Not anymore. I do. But we're just smart men now. Smart man.
Un taquito de ojo,
Hey, we got 2 eyes, brother.
That's what I'm saying.
Pase otra vez, por favor.
But slower this time. Hold on. Or skip, whichever one makes you happier. You could skip on by.
Yeah. So that's what happened, man. And I was living. I was 21, bro. And this girl was older, so she, bro. I kid you. I'm telling you, bro. I went
bro.
Straight to like plain. Like I was. And it's not. It's just she was teaching me things I never thought were possible, and I was like, "This is fun, bro. I don't want to ever leave here." It was crazy.
It sounds like Rockstar Life, man.
Bro,
literally is like when people talk about like, I could just fucking start running for the cartel and my life would change. Like that's your story, pretty much, which is nuts to experience, like to listen firsthand. It's fucking crazy,
dude. And to live in
I can't even imagine, bro. I can't even imagine. When you were talking about saying yes to the guy even though you were thinking no, I was getting nervous. I was like, oh my fucking God. I was like, nah, Just the thinking about going into. Oh, okay. Question. I didn't ask because I didn't want to stop your flow. So when you went to meet those guys that you hadn't met for the first time, saying that you were with somebody that you weren't, were you packing?
Like a strap?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yo, dude.
No, man, I wasn't.
You're wilding, bro.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
But it was a different time. So, again.
Okay. So it wasn't too common to just get run up on a deal. Oh, well, the side tells me different.
It depends who you're with, right?
Okay. Like, as in, like, the group you're working for?
Yes, whoever is protecting you, right? Whoever you're with. So, like, if you, in instance, right? You're the guy. Let me use you. We're going to meet up. He knows you.
Yep.
And he knows of you. Then there's nothing that can happen because he's disrespecting you and he knows what you're capable of, right? So I'm okay. I can walk around the whole park butt naked if I want.
Gotcha.
Right? Because
there
was weight to the name. Mm-hmm. There was value to the name. There was actions to the name. Now,
I see.
In this aspect, and I got myself in a lot of dumb predicaments too, man. It was one time, one of the things I loved, Eric, was I used to love to go to Papa's and Beer.
Okay.
If you know about Papa's and Beer.
I do know. I've never been, but I know of it.
I recommend it at least once.
Bet. I'm single, so I have no can.
Dude, it's insane. Insane. I went 3 years in a row.
Okay.
Bad, man.
Must be that good.
Dude. It's like EDC, right? But it's in Mexico. Everything's cheaper. And you get a party on it. I remember one time we got the VIP tables. And they have the security. Nobody else can go in there but you. And if you want to invite someone or you want, all the girls can come in, bro.
Yeah.
You got a man, you might got to stay outside. And they would come in, dude.
Crazy work, dude. Diabolical even. Your man can stay outside, but you can come on in.
But the women are attracted to the status of who you are at that moment, right? Because in Papa's and Beer, there's a balcony. And that balcony, there's only one way in. And the girls are like, I want to be part of the balcony. He's all right. Your man got to stay, but you can come. And they come, dude. And I remember it was from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We got there Thursday. We partied. No, I'm sorry. It was Friday. It was a 3-day event. I apologize for that. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The first event was at 7. Friday night. Then the next event. I'm okay right now. The next event is a pool party on Saturday morning, and then you have the other party at 7 p.m. And then you have Sunday, which is another little calm mellow party. And then if you wanted to stay till Monday to just, that border is going to be packed and you stay on Monday and you relax and you re-energize and you go back home on Tuesday morning. And I remember this was probably the peak of my time where we got really, really cool with people that were managing the club in the section that we were at. Because we got there, it was like 8 p.m., and then we got to Papa's and Beer. We partied till about maybe 5 a.m. They let us stay there. They're like, there's an after party. You guys can stay. We made this relationship. You can stay. And then 5 to 6 is like the walk back to our hotel. And we had like that nice view, like on like that presidential suite. You see everything. We're like, we're not going to go to sleep, bro. We're going to do some rails outside. See the whole ocean.
Yeah.
We brought the women over and we did what we had to do. We were falling asleep maybe like around like maybe 1 p.m. And then we're up again. Dude, it was bad, dude.
All right.
It's insane. And then we get like 3 hours of sleep. We're up again. It's 4 or 5.
Same party, huh?
We're getting ready and we're going back to the night. And then it happens again, right? And that was fun, bro. That was fun. But again, myself, it's like you start building this reputation where people start knowing who you are, even in places that you don't want them to know who you are. Mm-hmm. I remember that one time I knew we were going to need some stuff, so I was like, I'll cross it over. If anything happens, it falls on me. I hid it, or I needed to hide it. And crossing things over to Mexico is far easier, right? But even then, like, there's still a risk of like the whole drive to SD and then crossing over and it's pretty bad.
You got to be perfect.
Yeah, correct.
But not too perfect.
Yeah, not that. You don't have to put it in the tires. You don't gotta do none of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I crossed it over, and then I'm like, look what I got. And they're like, you brought it? I was like, yeah, dude. We ran out though, and one of my friends is like, I had two friends. One of them was like, if you need anything, my friend is there. I'll just call a taxi and they'll drop it off. I was like, okay, cool. We'll call a taxi. We got it. It was horrible, bro. It was that like coke and meth put together, which leads up to everything else. Of them, we'll get there. And
Interesting.
In that it's called, we call it campechana, and it's horrible, bro, because you.
Interesting. You said campechana, and I thought of a burrito, bro. I was like, that's asada and pastor, bro.
Yeah. No, man, that's what we call it,
That's
dude.
crazy.
But at that time, it's like, we're in Mexico, bro. Why not?
Fuck it.
The only problem with that is,
Pull that mic close to you. Just spin it towards you.
oh yeah, the only problem with that is that you can't. You're definitely not sleeping off of that, dude.
No.
And
I mean, that's what Hitler used in World War II.
Yeah.
And that's what he gave all of his soldiers.
Yeah. It makes it no fun with the women at that time. So I was like, no, man, I can't do this. So I call my other friend. He's like, someone is going to meet you inside the club. And my thought was like, okay, he's going to meet me in the club. I'm going to pay him and we're going to have it. He's like, no, dude, you're going to follow me to his house. I'm talking Rosarito, bro. I'm talking about like Mexico.
Yeah.
So there I go in my head. I'm like, well, nothing's going to happen to me because my friend knows who I am. And if anything happens to me, then something's going to happen to him. And then it's going to happen to his friend. So I'm like chilling.
Yeah.
It didn't hit me till like now when I spoke about it with my mom. And I was like, Mom, this happened. She was like, what were you thinking? I was like, I don't know. I needed something. They sent someone. I followed them. And we went through like those ghetto houses. Like we went through boom, boom, boom. Ended up in a motel. Met some Argentinians. And they were like, this is what I got. I was like, all right, I'll take two.
Wow.
In my head, nothing in my head was
No
clear
alarms
enough.
or anything.
Nothing. I was
It was normal.
Because you get used to the fear, bro. You get used to everything, which is bad and horrible.
Well, even when you were talking about you're sitting there holding the bags and you had the phone, I was thinking like, okay, that's probably like an at first moment, and then you do it for long enough, and you're like, I'm a dealer. Yep. Like, this is just what I do.
And it gets so engraved in your head. It's like, it's in a, how do I say it? You just repeat it to yourself that you start to believe it so much that even that's where your attitude changes.
Like an affirmation.
Yes, like an affirmation. And everything just changes, dude. So yeah, so let's go back to that story. And that was the peak, man. That was the funnest times. We would come back home and we used to, my thing is I love music. And I love getting grupos. So if I wasn't doing anything during the week, we had a spot where we would get like the bajo sexto or the accordion. It was a dueto or something. We have a three with the singer and the accordion and the bajo, and it was an every week thing. Every week thing. Boom, boom, boom. Drinks, women. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. That went on for a while. And you get, and I want to mention, going back to the affirmation part, the mentality we have, for me, dude, I was willing to die for what I was doing. But there was only one way that I was willing to die or get caught. Okay. If I'm going to die, if I'm going to get caught, I'm going to look good, brother.
Okay.
That was the only thing that I cared about. I was like, I'm going to have my Armani shirts. I'm going to have my watch. I'm going to have my brand new jeans. And if I die, I'm going to die in luxury.
Fucking because style, bro.
It's insane, dude. Because, and even the thing, like, and if I'm going to come out in a mugshot, I'm going to smile. And I'm gonna have my shirt, and I'm gonna make music for me, and it's a mindset that, again, this is why I know that the Lord has called me with youth, because it's a mindset that is very hard to get out of, very hard, dude. Because till this day, I won't struggle with it, but sometimes I remind myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm this guy, but then I'm like, no, you're not that person no more. Stop. But it's like those moments where people like trigger you, and you're just like, oh, and it's just like,
you don't know what I could be.
Yeah. And everybody has a nickname, right? And I'm like, this, I'll say my nickname. I was like, I'm this. And I'm just like, wait, that's not me. That's not who I am anymore. But it's very hard to get out of the mentality. And I know people who are still in that mentality and who are no longer with us as well because of that mentality, right? So yeah, going back to that, it was the peak of my life. I was having fun. And then in 2018, I met someone who prior I was very, very fond of. I was fond of her since I was 18. We had hung out once. And then in 2018, she had broken up with her boyfriend. So I was like, boom, I'm in, right? And she responded, I was in. But it was different with her because she didn't party. She didn't party like the other girl, right? She was not willing to stay up with me and do drugs and do whatever we wanted. So when I started speaking to her, she had no idea of what I was doing. I remember I had a trip to Guatemala with my family, and I was like, dude, I gotta go. And she's like, where do you gotta go? I was like, we're gonna take a family trip and I'll be back. But we hit it off, dude, and it was great. But when I came back, like, I still wanted to, because I was consuming so much, dude. If we put numbers out there, like, I was probably doing maybe, like, streetwise, like $300 or $400 a day, streetwise. So we're talking about like an 8-ball, maybe 2 8-balls in a day.
Jesus.
Which leads up to, there's one specific part of my life that leads up where I return to church.
Okay.
But it was so much. So even to this day, like sometimes my heart will like have like these like bursts, and I'm like, ugh, like, oh, that hurt, and I know why it hurt, you know.
A little fucking palpitation.
Yeah. But I was consuming so much, but it was because I had access to it, and because it wasn't messing up with my money, right? Like, I made my money, and I have enough to go and party and do whatever I want. But this girl, man, till this day, I am very grateful that she came into my life, because God put her in that aspect, because I wouldn't have changed. But it took a while for me to change, right? I changed after we broke up, but the process of us being together, I knew I didn't want her to see me on coke. I knew I didn't want her seeing me the way everybody else saw me. This is where Xanax comes in. Okay. Xanax becomes a very big part of my life, because one time we went to San Diego, and we stayed up. It was a Friday. We stayed up till Saturday. My friend's like, have this Xanax. You're going to level out. You're going to go to sleep. And I was like, cool. That was it. And I remember that I wanted to continue to party, but I didn't want this girl to see me. So what I had to do was, I can party up to like 1 a.m., pop a quarter of a 1 milligram white, or I think the yellow ones were 2 milligrams. Pop a quarter, go to sleep. The next day I see her in the morning, back to routine, go work at the shop, go party again, pop again. It became to the point.
Yo.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, we're going to have a very good talk today.
This is nuts.
Insane, brother. Insane.
My whole notion and perception of you is like, this is crazy.
It's insane.
This is apparently the way I could explain it is like, if you've ever seen one of those like ant picture frames where you could just like see the ants walking, you're like, oh, that's cool. But then you go on the other side of the wall, and it's this whole fucking giant colony in this cube that somebody made just because they wanted to see ants do cool shit. That's what your life is like to me right now. Hey, this is crazy.
It's insane, man. And I'm alive by the grace of God. And this is where it's leading up to this horrible, tragic thing that happened to me. But going back to with this, she's wonderful, man. Till this day, she hates me though, and that's fine. I understood why. She like, I mean, come on, bro. Like, she would pick me up at 3 a.m. from the hotels. She would pick me up at 4 a.m. from my cousin's house, because we're all staying up, or from my friend's house because we're staying up, we're partying, and she got tired of it, you know. But the first 4 months are cool. We get a scare. We think she's pregnant, and she's like, I know what you're doing, because you told me. I don't remember nothing, bro. She's like, you popped a pill. You did coke in front of me. You popped the pill, and I know you don't remember anything because those things make you forget. But you told me everything that you do. I was like, damn. I was like, okay, cool. She's like, I think I'm pregnant. This was April 17, 2018. So you started talking in December of 2018, January, it was already like, okay, officially talking, right? And she was like, so it's January, February, March, April, 4 months, bro. And I'm popping like back and forth. I'm forgetting things. My friends are picking me up from my house, and they're like, dude, you remember what happened yesterday? I was like, no. You asked me to pick you up. Go look at your phone. And I'm like, pick me up at this place. Take me here. Oh, now I have to go home. Take me back home. Like, all of these text messages are there. And I'm like, dude, this happened? He's like, yeah, dude, I picked you up. Like, what are you talking about? So I was here, but I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Like I was just blacking out, having full on conversations, going wherever I wanted to go, and
That's
living.
horrifying.
It was, dude,
bro.
Scary for sure.
Yeah.
Scary. No, I don't even want to think about. Nope.
I remember the first time I blacked out. First time, it was senior year, 17, and me and my buddy Justin, shout out to Justin Tompkins, hey yo, we'd always been invited to parties, but we were like, nah, we never went. And then his parents were out of town for a weekend, and we were like, why don't we just throw our own party? So we did, and it was a grand time. And I was carrying bottles around. It was Sky and Grey Goose.
Yes, sir.
And nobody wanted to drink. They were all scared. So I would go up to them holding bottles behind my back, and I'd go, you're my friend, right? Yeah. And they'd go, of course I'm your friend. I'd go, if you're my friend, you'll take a shot with me. And they'd go, all right. I'm like, cool. Now, there was like 12 people there, and I went up to at least 8 of them. So I already had 8 shots, and then I played beer pong. And at a certain point in the night, it's just like, poof, lights are out, right? I wake up, my shirt is off. I'm wearing my pants. I don't have my shoes, but I'm covered in sweaters. I don't know where my shirt is, and all like everybody is already left except for like 3 more people, and they're like, we're going to Denny's. You want to go? You're awake. I'm glad you survived. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but okay. So I grab a sweater that was on top of me because I couldn't find my shirt. We're at Denny's, and they're talking about all these stories and this and that. They're like, I can't believe you did that. Like, that's crazy. And I was like, what do you mean? Who did what? That sounds really funny. When did this happen? They were like, bro, that was you. Yeah. You did that. And I was like, what do you mean I did that? They were like, these stories are you. These are all stories of you. And I was like, I don't remember any of it. And they were like, I don't know what to tell you, man. And I was like, that sucks. It sounded like a lot of fun, and I don't remember any of it. I don't want to do that ever again. So I would just get to like right before passing out.
Yeah. No, and it's scary, dude. It's scary. Even looking back, it's like, I thank the Lord that it never got to a point where I did anything dumb. Right? Yeah. Because, bro, like, if I don't remember that, like, what else could have happened, you know?
Dude, what conversations could you have had? What deals did you make?
Where would I be?
Bro.
You know? It's
especially
scary.
the world that you were in.
Yeah, man, it's scary to think, dude. So, yeah, Xanax became a very big part, but it became also a very big problem. Because these pills weren't legit, right? So they were being made by someone else, and they had a lot of downers, just opioids, and it was horrible. We went on a date, me and this girl, once, and I was like, dude, I'm off of these pills, and she's like, good. And we were at a Kicking Crab. And all I remember, it was like this, everything was closing in on me, and everything just felt hot. I was what is it? I was having withdrawals. And I was like, dude, we need to get out of here. He's like, you don't feel good? I was like, yeah, but we need to go, because if we don't go, like, I'm going to, like, boom. And I remember that night, I just went and did a bump, and I was cool. A bump of rails, right? But it was the only thing that would mellow me out, because Xanax it's hard to get out. Like, unless you've been addicted to pills, like, you don't understand how hard it is to. Prescriptions are probably far worse, but whatever you get from the streets is as bad, because
it's cut with other shit.
A lot, man. And yeah, man, this girl stuck with me through everything. And I remember she told me, she was like, I think we're pregnant, dude, and if I am, if you don't get clean, you're not gonna see your child. I was like, oh, so what do I have to do? And she's like, you need to go to rehab. I was like, okay. What's that? I was like, okay, dude, I got whatever, and that happened for like a week, but then I still continued on that binge of buying, because, bro, you fall in a cycle, and again, it's a cycle. And I remember when she was like, dude, I don't remember, I'm gonna be honest. I just remember the text messages where I was telling her, she was like, okay, I'm ready, like, today's the day. She's like, are you sure? Yeah, today's the day. All I remember is being in the car. My parents took me. I was in the truck. I had my my luggage. I took all my fancy clothes again. I was like, I want to be in style. I took everything I needed to take, and I ended up at the rehab. I didn't know where I was at, dude, because I apparently gave her the rehab. So I looked it up on my phone. I sent it to her. And I told her, this is where I want to go because I'll stay close to you. And I remember I saw the messages, dude, and it, kid you not, exactly like that. But I don't remember anything.
That's so crazy.
It was insane, dude. And this was 2018. So 2018, I was what? 20. How old am I now? 28.
2018, you were probably
22.
22, yeah.
Okay, 22,
21.
So I was going to be 22.
Yeah.
Insane, man. And yeah, I remember being there, and I had an 8-ball with me that I tried to sneak in because I was like, I'm gonna be doing some blowing here, you know. It was a big problem, dude. It was bad, but
I love that.
It was insane, and what made it worse, I would say, again, this stage of my life allowed me to live in a movie still. And like you mentioned earlier, like a rock star, right? So again, I went in there trying to sneak in this 8-ball. They're like, you're not gonna bring this in here. This is a clean facility. All right, cool. I'm clean 3 days, and I'm just like, I'm cool now. I can go home. And they're like, no, don't go home. My counselor talks to me. He's like, I was like, let's talk. And he's like, why did you come in here? And I tell him, I was like, dude, I came in here because my girl said if I don't get clean, she's not gonna let me see my kid. We find out later that she wasn't pregnant, but at the time, like, that's like, okay, I'm here for my kid, right? I'm here for my child. And he goes, okay, so what happens if you didn't come? She wasn't gonna let you see her, right? He's like, yeah. Well, let me tell you this. And he tells me, it's like, either you get better, or she finds better.
And
I was like, I stay here. Keep me here. I'll stay here. I'll finish.
Yeah.
It hit me, dude, because I was fond of this girl since I was 18. So I was fond of her till I was able to get her, right? So for me, she was like
that was the white whale,
bro, beautiful girl. And to this day, if you're seeing this, very good looking girl. But I hope your life is going well, and I hope the Lord is taking you where He needs to take you, because He's taking me where I'm at.
Respect.
But very, very grateful for her life. But again, it was like she was the only person that, because my mom would tell me that I didn't care, my dad would tell me I didn't care, I didn't. But there's this beautiful lady, and I'm just like, okay, now I'm gonna listen to her. Whatever you say, I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm clean for like a year, but hold on. In rehab, right, it was a 2-month process. This is what made it worse too. My parents paid it, dude. It was $13,000.
Wow.
And because my parents paid it cash, I was able to have my own room. I was able to have my own TV. So I was living like that prison life, but with the liberty of doing whatever I wanted, right? And I remember, like, I was still making money because I called someone. I was like, dude, like, that phone's gonna ring. I need you to take care of it. You take care of it, and when I get out, I give you your cut. So I'm still making money on the outside. I'm inside living like a king. I'm getting clean. I'm living, you know? No worries in sight. Nobody knows where I'm at. So for the first time, I'm able to sleep. I don't have to look over my shoulder. And that was there for 2 months. And then I remember I came out so I was in April, June, July. I came out in July. And I was clean maybe up until November, dude. And I remember the first time where I was like, I'm cool. I can do this again. My homie picks me up. He had a beautiful Ram, and we're driving down the street, and I was like, hey, dude, you want it? He's like, you sure? I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So I did it, right? And first day was great. I didn't feel anything that you feel, right? Like when you've been on a binge, like your body's just super tired, you're dehydrated, so you don't feel that the next day. So I woke up the next day and I'm like, I can do this again. She's not gonna notice. I look fine. I still look good. My face is fine. Coming up to Christmas, I was invited to her family's Christmas party, and they already had seen me, right, when I was clean and chunkier, and they were like, you look skinnier. And she's like, yeah. So she already knew that I was messing with it, but she didn't tell me, right? And then we had the conversation. It's like, I know you're doing it again, and I know you're still moving. And I was like, damn. I was like, well, you like that purse I got you, though, huh? Like some Gucci glasses, huh? She kept me in aligned, man. She did the best she could. But then it got to a point, man, where it was already interfering again with my life. I think I was asked to be on a wedding, and my compadre, he doesn't know the story, but the lady knows. And I was supposed to be up there with him, right? I almost missed it, dude, because I stayed up the whole night doing blow, and I didn't want to be truthful to anybody that I was back on this BS. I was playing this persona of, or hiding behind this like, oh, I went to rehab and I'm clean already.
Yeah.
Till this day, I stayed clean off Xanax. That's for sure. I never touched that ever again. I was like, dude, this was hard. But yeah, it was ruining my life again. Where going back into 2020, so this is all 2019 I was back on it. 2020 comes and COVID. Mm-hmm. And I kid you not, man. COVID really, I would say, the time that you had to stay home, all that liberty of the time that you had, you were able to do whatever you wanted, right? Mm-hmm. I was still making money, bro. People weren't working, but people were still hitting me up, and I'm chilling. So one night, I think I stayed up, I think it was maybe almost 2 days, dude, on a binge.
Damn,
and
son.
It was bad.
It's like you get tired, rail. Tired, rail.
Dude, it was horrible.
Can I ask real quick? At that point, when you're hitting rails of cocaine, you're just going deep. Is there any more of like a rush feeling, or it just like kind of brings you back to life, so you could just keep going for a little bit longer?
Both. It keeps you going longer, but the rush that I felt was one time. Again, dude, I think I'm addicted to adrenaline, because this is what happened.
Okay.
I hit it. I'm in my room. I'm stuck. I'm sweating all over. My spine is sweating. My heart is like, and I just feel my body just go, and then I get back up and I'm like, oh damn, that was cool. you see the aspect of how that mind is it's ridiculous, dude. Because
the way your brain is wired
could have led to an OD for sure.
100%.
Right.
You know, that forced heart attack that I could do with the bump. Mm-hmm. That's what you were searching for.
Dude, it was insane. And we used to have a saying where it was like, si me muero, me quiero morir en avión. Meaning, if I die, I want to die in a plane. Which means for us, it's like, if I die, I want to die
high.
High, right? And I remember, like, those times that it would happen, I'd be like, yeah, I didn't die, so I'm gonna play with this again, you know? Again. And I think that's for a long time, that's that mindset that we have. It's like, you're so close to death that you really don't experience. I mean, you experience it, but you don't die. That you want to do it again and see how much of to the edge do you want to live, or can you live? Yeah. So yeah, it's both, man. It can be a rush, or it can just keep you up.
That's heavy in the motorcycle community, specifically in the I'm gonna use the term crotch rockets, but the sports bikes, like liter bikes, 600s and 1000 cc's. The people that are on the freeway going fucking 150, 200 miles an hour, splitting lanes at 100. Oh, you're asking to die.
Yeah. No, man, it's insane, and I think I'm just wired bad now.
Something about your experiences growing up made you just a magnet to certain things.
Yeah, man. But again, God has been good, man, and I'm gonna say that till the day that I die, because God is good, brother.
God is good all the time. And all the time,
God is good.
God is good. Yes, sir.
So yeah, COVID hit, and I'm still making money, bro. And I'm at home. Stimulus checks are hitting, so everybody got
money
them,
coming
right?
in out of everywhere. You got other people's stimulus checks.
They're like, "Hey, man, it just hit. Can I get a bigger one?" I was like, "Dude, let's go." So yeah, dude, and it was a bad binge, because I never hit Xanax again. But what I did start doing was like cough medicine, NyQuil, to go to sleep.
Okay.
And
gotcha. You weren't like mixing. You didn't start going.
No.
Okay,
I wanted to sleep. So I was doing weed for a long time, and weed helped. But weed and coke, like, bro, I'm feeling things I shouldn't be feeling. Like, I'm like elevated, and I'm just like, oh, this is not cool, you know. But I would use it to sleep, right? Because like I still wanted to have my day. So I would I was on NyQuil, and the NyQuil just wasn't working, and my mind wasn't resting, because it was every single day. To the point where we had an argument, me and this girl, and I just told her everything. I was like, I've been lying to you. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I've been lying to you that I've been using and I've been using a lot. And she's like, I know you've been using, but I'm not like, no, dude, I've been using a lot. And I started telling her, and she's like, dude, we're back to where how we met. Like, I was like, yeah. She's like, I can't do this no more. And if I remember correctly, I broke up with her and I tried to get her back. She's like, dude, I can't do this no more. She got tired, man.
Yep.
And understandably, right, with all the right reasons, it was to happen, and it happened. So if I thought I could hit rock bottom, I didn't know there was a much more deeper hole that I can go. Because after losing the person that you feel is, because this girl, man, I didn't propose to her, but I gave her a promise ring, right? And I gave her a promise ring, but I was building already. I was already building the engagement ring, and it was only
feel you there,
you know,
dude. All right, I'm listening.
I bought her a ruby,
Nice.
and I was gonna build it because ruby is July's rock, right? So I was gonna build around it, and I was like, that's my birthday, that's for you.
Yeah.
And I remember where altercation was I believe I took off the ring that I had given her, and then she was like, dude, you're just not the person I am in love with anymore. Like I don't even want to be around you. I returned her the ring, but it was after everything happened, and I was like, dude, like I really messed up, and I knew I messed up. She tried to deal with me a little bit longer, but she was going through the phase of like, I finally can get away from you, so I'm gonna get away from you, and I don't want anything to do with any of this.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know how her mind was in any time that we would go out, right? Like for me, anytime we would go out, like I had to sit where I knew there was an exit, or
You could see the doors.
my back was.
You could always check everything.
I knew anyone that was around me.
You knew all your exit routes.
Everything. And I don't know if she went through that. We never spoke about it, but I can imagine it was mentally draining being with someone who was doing that, and not only that, was also destroying his own life and bringing that burden on her life as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, she dealt with me for like 3 more months, and she was like, dude, like that's it, man. Like I got to do my life. You know, I was like, but you don't want to do life with me? She was like, no. So it took me a long time to accept it, right? And I'm telling you, I thought I knew that was rock bottom. No, brother. It got to, like, I continued to I think, I kid you not. And I tell people this story all the time, but one night, I don't know how it happened, but this is what led up to this tragic event that happened a year after. Was I did maybe between about 28 to 30 grams of cocaine when I had a whole ounce.
Yeah, I was about to say you
right?
passed an ounce there, buddy. That's 1.4 ounces,
give or take. Because I remember at that time, I would either get like.
He said give or take.
Dude,
all right,
it was bad.
Yo.
Because I would grab and I knew what I would grab, and then the next day I would wait, and I was like, oh, dude, did I do all that? Yeah, you did all that. Part of my nose is missing too.
So that's what I was waiting to like ask at some point or like find out. I was like,
yeah.
Do you still have all of your nose? Because
no.
that much blow, if I'm not mistaken, usually eats some of you.
Yeah, so it part of my cartilage, and I remember when it came out, because this side was the side that I would do it most.
It came out.
Boom, dead cell just fell off. Boom, in the sink, and it was a big old.
Like, were you blowing your nose or
yeah?
Like, oh my.
Because the next day you're congested, man. So you blow it out, and you just remember, boom, came out, and I was like, oh, so this nostril here is like I can put my finger all the way up, and like if I want to scratch my eyeball, I can. But this one is still normal. But it destroyed my body too.
Okay.
Very bad, man.
Did it hurt when you blew it out? Or
was
was your
like,
face like fucking numb at that point?
No, it was already dead, dude. Like I'm from what I'm thinking, it was constant overuse that when it just fell off, it just fell off.
It was just hanging.
It was just hanging.
Just waiting for something to push it out.
It's basically a chemical burn.
Yeah.
It just eats away, necrotizes the cartilage little by
sense.
little, so you don't even notice.
Huh.
It was bad.
Bro.
Insane. Huh?
Yeah, dude.
It gets worse, dude. Hold on.
I'm there. I'm there, brother. This is
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So it gets really bad, and that happened. So yeah, 2020. Obviously, continue using. We're going on 2021, and at this moment in my life, I had stopped doing jiu-jitsu for a long time. And if I was doing it, I was doing it sporadically. I wasn't doing it constantly. One of the main reasons was because I always had to be around. My phone was always ringing. So I had to decide whether I'm going to make money, I'm going to go train.
Yeah, this is so interesting now. Because I knew the jiu-jitsu, I knew the shop, and I knew that you were going hard with jiu-jitsu, and then...
I stopped.
You, like, stopped. And I remember asking you once, I was like, what happened? You were training, like, doing competitions, and you're like, not enough time, work. And I was like, I feel it. But I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it. It's like, clearly I wasn't feeling it.
No.
Now I know why you stopped jiu-jitsu.
Dude, yeah. Okay. The worst part about it is you can make all the money, but you don't own your time.
Yeah.
And you always have to be around.
You're on that phone.
Hey, brother, it's annoying. What I enjoy now is, brother, I can go home and if I want to take a nap at 5 p.m., I'll take a nap and I don't have to worry about my phone ringing, you know? Turn off my phone. I don't have to worry about anything. But, yeah, so I started returning to jiu-jitsu and I'm training here and there. And then I remember it was in February. I ended up in the hospital February 12th of 2021. But I trained, it was 2 days prior. It was on a Wednesday. So it was probably the 10th. And all I hear is I shoot a single and I grab onto the single and my partner sprawls. And in the sprawl, my hands, my body extends, right? And as my body extends, I hear a pop in my left rib. So I was like, oh, did I just pop my rib? And I'm like walking around. I can't breathe, dude. It was like horrible pain. And at this time, I was training all the way in Orange. So I still have to drive 30 minutes home, and I'm just driving like, oh, dude, it was horrible. Yeah. I don't tell anybody because in my mind it was like, you broke something, we'll check it out the next day. You know, it's like, you train.
Be a man.
Yeah, be a man. And I'm like moving it, things are moving. I'm like, okay, I definitely broke my rib.
On a sprawl?
On a hyperextension of a sprawl. But it
I
wasn't.
guess that makes more sense.
It wasn't. So I in my head, because I still had that mindset of like live or die, right? Boom, 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 gladiator. Yeah. I held on to the. I doubled up on that single, and he sprawled back. So when he sprawled back, I didn't unlock my arms.
Gotcha.
I kept it locked, and it just.
I see.
Pop. And what happened was, I go home. I don't tell anybody. I tell mom I got injured. And she's like, "Okay, you good?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm good. It's just, we'll check it out tomorrow." Thursday. What do you think I did that Wednesday night?
You fucking coked up.
I did some blow, brother.
Hell yeah. It's fucking snowing that night for sure, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, oh, well, if I'm going to go into surgery, I'm going to go into surgery whenever I go, but I'm going to do the last time that I can. I'm going to get messed up, and I'm going to blow it up,
Yeah.
So that happens Wednesday. Thursday, I stay up all Thursday night. I stay up Wednesday night till Thursday, and my ribs still hurting, and I'm just like, oh yeah, dude, I messed it up. I don't come out of my room. I'm still railing it up. And Friday comes, right? And Friday I wake up, but I wake up with a big discomfort in my throat. I can't move my neck up. I can't move left. All I know is everything is hurting. My rib is hurting, so I'm like, dude, I need to go to the ER. Something is happening. Brush my teeth. I'm like, Mom, can you take me? She's like, yeah. I'm telling you, I love my mama. She's great. She's like, I'll take you. So we go to La Palma Hospital, and they're touching me. I'm like, oh, dude, like everything hurts. They start touching my throat, and it starts to feel a little better. But my rib is painful, bro. I'm just like, damn, man, like.
Skin level, did it look like anything? Were you like purple, black? No, not even bruising. Interesting.
This is where it gets better. We go in and they're like, we're gonna throw in the CAT scan. I was like, okay, you're gonna check out what's going on. It's all good. Yeah. I kid you not, Eric. I'm there. This person who they put the IV on you, right? Yeah. They poked me like 4 times. They couldn't find the vein. I'm just like bleeding. I'm bleeding all over the place, and I'm just like, dude, this is a horrible day already. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, I don't know. They ended up like finding the vein over here, and they put the vein or over here somewhere. It was on this side, correct? And no. Yes, this side. So they poked me here. They couldn't find the vein here, and then they find the vein on the outside.
Top.
So they put it in there, and throw me in the CAT scan, and they're like, we're gonna pump you up with some liquid.
Oh, so they can see. That's right.
Whatever's going on.
Yeah.
But leading up to this, in my head, I'm like, they're gonna give me morphine, dude. For me, morphine's it's a downer. Like, I don't ever want to be on a downer ever again in my entire life. Yeah. So I tell them ahead of time, I'm like, I just want you to know that I have had problems in the past with Xanax, and I don't want any downers, and I don't want any medicine. Like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. Because I'm telling you, bro, it's the worst thing to get out of. It's insane. I never wanted to be back in there.
Thankfully, I didn't get stuck, but I can understand why.
It's bad, man.
Mm-hmm.
If it makes you feel better, Xanax is different than morphine, benzodiazepines, and opiates.
Yeah, but remember that these benzos or these Xanax weren't fully prescribed, so they all had. They had opioids. They were street Xanax, right? Because we tested them out.
Did you?
Yeah. How do we test them out? You just find someone who's willing to test it out and just tell us the difference. You want to be the guinea pig? We'll pay you.
That's funny.
We won't get into that, man. That was bad times too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's the problem. You know that we didn't know exactly what was on those benzos. I just didn't want to have any downers. I didn't want to feel anything. I didn't want to feel anything that was gonna put me to sleep, dude. Like it was bad. I was afraid. So yeah, they put me in there and they put me with this liquid and I'm feeling the liquid. It's like it's a little warm. And they're like, okay, they put me in once and they're like, okay, we're gonna put you in again because you moved. You're not supposed to move. Okay, cool. I feel the liquid again. It's a little warm again. And then they take me back to the room. And they're like, it's like, you're not leaving. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, if I let you leave right now, your life is in my hands and I am responsible for your life. I need you to know, and we're going to show you. What popped wasn't, your rib didn't pop. There was a pocket of air that shouldn't have been there that popped.
Whoa. Okay.
So what you have is in your throat on the left side, you have a hole that's as big as a dime. That's every time that you breathe, that air is not going all the way into your lungs. Half of that air or some of the air is going into your body, and you have pockets of air. You have pockets of air. I had pockets of air from
the
here.
Lung cavity? Like wherever your lungs sit in?
No. So when this
in here. So the air would slip out when you're breathing, and then it would
just go in anywhere in my body.
What the fuck?
Because I consumed so much cocaine that I had a hole in my throat already.
From nasal drip.
From just everything.
Okay.
And it opened up a hole the size of a dime. Boom. And they're like, what popped was a pocket of air. And that's not the only place you have a pocket of air. You have pockets of air in your spine that if they pop, you're going to be paralyzed. You also have pockets of air on top of your heart. So I had all the way to my shoulder pockets of air that if they were to pop, my heart's there, boom, heart explodes. So they're like, we're sending you to UCI Health now. I was like, like I didn't understand it, right?
Yeah.
They're like, we're sending you now because this is like you need to go into surgery. Like
you're gonna die.
Yeah, and you breathing now, like you're adding more air to places they're not supposed to be. That hole is still open.
Wow.
Insane, man. So I'm sorry.
You're good. So theoretically, if you would have let go of that single leg that you double, what would you say?
I doubled up on a single leg.
Yeah, you doubled up on. There's a chance that air pocket would not have popped.
Correct.
Which would mean that you wouldn't have not gone to the ER.
Correct. And then any other movement would have popped either the air pockets that were on top of my heart or on my spine.
Yeah. Yo.
It was insane.
Okay, so they transport you to
UCI Health.
UCI. And
this is where God got me, man. And this is where I remember vividly the Lord, again, this is still COVID times, My mother took me. My sister was in the car, and my mom. The only thing she could do was she was only able to see me when they put me into the ambulance. She was not allowed to follow me to UCI because it was still COVID protocols. No one can be with you in the room. You have to be there by yourself.
Yeah.
They sent me to UCI, and I come on, Mom, I'm at UCI. And she's like, okay, cool. At that moment, and we're gonna come back to that. At that moment at UCI, they get me into the ICU, and they're like, we're gonna run tests on you. I was like, but they already ran tests on me at La Palma. They're like, yeah, but their machines are not as good as ours, or whatever they sent over is not coming over to our system. And I was like, dude, but then, because that liquid that they put in me, bro, it was hot. It was insane.
That's what they give the painkillers for.
Yeah, I kind of figured that out a little later.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
So, again, they're like, we're gonna put you in the CAT scan again, and they already had to put me the what is that called, the
neck brace.
The neck brace. So I'm like here, bro, and I can't move.
Just stuck. Yeah.
Stuck. It's a Friday night, bro, and Fridays are busy. If you're selling, Fridays are busy. I remember my phone was ringing. I didn't pay too much attention to it, but it leads up to everything else. They take me to the CAT scan and they put me in there, and they're like, we're gonna put you in there. Cool. I don't know what type of liquid they had, but this was worse, dude. And
This one burned?
This one burned.
So when you said it felt warm, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Usually everybody tells me it fucking burns.
I guess you see I got better medicine, brother. That thing burned. That thing burned.
And like alcohol in a cut, huh?
Yeah, it's horrible, dude. And I'm just there. I'm still dealing with all the
needles. They gotta stab you again.
They got me in here, and I'm just like, I can't move. They wrap me up like on not a straight jacket, but they make sure that you don't move.
They tie you up, yeah. Strap you down.
And they put me in the CAT scan, and they're like, okay, you're gonna feel a little warm. I'm like,
I'm on fire.
Dude, I'm not yelling yet, dude. They bring me out, and I'm like, okay, you're a man. And they're like, oh, they're like, you moved. We're gonna put you in there again. I was like, again? We're gonna put you in again. They put me in there again, bro, and I'm just like, they put me in there 4 times, bro.
Ooh.
4 times. And the last 2 times, I'm just yelling out of my mind. I was like, dude, get me out of here. Get me out of here. This is insane. Because I'm just burning up, dude. And I'm burning up all inside. And I'm just like, this is horrible. So I felt all the pain. And God was telling me, dude, like, you led up to everything. I was like, damn, man. So they sent me back to the room, and they're like, okay, we have surgery tomorrow morning. We need you to rest. We're going to bring someone else later to check everything up. But you are scheduled for surgery because we have to close out that home. They bring someone to check me, and they're going to check my lungs. They bring that camera, and they put it in. Again, I feel everything, dude. So I feel that whole camera moving inside, moving. It was horrible, bro. It was insane. And I can't move. I'm like this, and they're just like, stop moving. I was like, girl, like, this hurt, you know?
You shoving a tube down my throat. I'm trying.
And she's just like moving it around, scoping it around, and I'm just like, dude, like, why are you, like, stop, you know? And she's like, we have to check it. It was the worst experience I ever felt in my entire life. And the worst part, for the first time, I felt used. For the first time, I felt like the people that I was serving up. For the first time, bro. Because I understood there that as much as they only needed me for one thing, I only needed them for one thing as well. And they didn't care if I was dying. They didn't care if I was hurting. They only wanted their things. And they didn't care. I remember one instance when someone hit me up, and I'm like, dude, I'm in the hospital. Like, I'm going into surgery tomorrow. And he tells me, he's like, oh, do you have anything with you there? And I can go in there and grab it.
Pick up?
Yeah. And I was like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, it started hitting me, right? Like they really only need me for one thing. Like, I'm dying, bro. Like, my body is burning. I feel everything. Like, I just went through all this, and you're asking me this right now? Like,
you got pockets of air around my heart and in my spine. And you're asking if I got back?
I was like, man, I shouldn't have hooked you up that one time I gave you a free sack. Give me back my 40.
Give me back my 40, bro. What the fuck? Don't even care about me.
I'm like, oh, sheesh.
It's wild, dude.
It's insane, dude. And I remember, again, my mother dropped me off, and the last time I saw her was when they put me in the ambulance, and they transferred me over. And then I call her. And when I called her, like, I needed my mom, bro. Like, I was like, bro, like, this is horrible. I needed my mom. So I called her and I FaceTimed her, and it pissed me off, dude. It pissed me off. She was at the place that I hated.
Church?
She was at church. She was at church, bro. And Dad was at church, and I was like, how are you going to go to church? He's like, where else am I going to go? I can't be there with you. Where else am I going to go? Brother, that hit.
Yeah.
I was angry.
That's heavy.
I was upset. And I was mad, dude. I was like, everybody's just using, and that's what everything was going on. Everybody's just using, my family's not here. I'm here for myself. And then I got to go to the restroom. And then the lady's like, I'm like, can I go to the restroom? She's like, yeah, you can go to the restroom. But I'm going to clean you. I was like, huh? Yeah. You want to go to the restroom? You can't move. If you move in those pockets of air and your spine pop, you're going to be paralyzed. If your heart moves, you're going to be gone. So I got to clean you. And the first thing in my head, bro, was like, I've made all this money. I'm 20. How old was I? I was 25 years ago. I was 23. And I have someone that's going to clean me. I was like, I was like, I can do this on my own. Like, let me try it on my own. I was not going to be humiliated like that. And I didn't, bro. I was like, I'm like moving. Like, I had to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is a shit life that I'm living. This is shit. Like, why do I want to be here? So, I have surgery tomorrow. I can't clean myself. I can't get out of here. My parents are at church. Everybody's just using me. My friends are just, where are they? They can't be here. Where's my money? Money can't buy a house.
It ain't doing nothing for you there.
Nothing, bro. And I remember, and then there was an instance where I was like, okay, God, what do you want? Like, what do you want? And I remember I was like, I told God, I was like, if you take me out of this, I return. If you take me out of this, I return. And one of the things that I've learned in life is that your word is very valuable. And much more in the life that I lived, if you said something, you had to do it. I was always told by my father that if you say something that you're going to do it. You're going to fulfill it.
Mm-hmm.
And until this day, I live on that. If I say something, I fulfill. And if I can't, then I talk and I say, you know what, I can't do it. And God's like, I'm like, God, are you listening? Like, if you take me out of this, I return. I'm like, okay, you know what? He didn't listen. Saturday comes, they wake me up like at 4 a.m. They're like, we're transferring you over to the surgery room. The one that takes you before they prep you up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep. I'll knock out. It's 7 a.m. They're like, hey, we're going to wake you up. Doctors are here. They're going to check you out. And they're like, we need to talk to you. And I was like, what? I was like, I don't know. We don't know how it happened. We don't know what's going on. But that hole that you had in your throat, it's healing on its own. And it's closing up.
Dude.
I was like, well, I know how it happened. God answered in my head, right? I didn't want to say it out loud.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going to give you the option if you want surgery or not. And part of me wanted it because of the soul, quote unquote, gladiator lifestyle mindset you have. Like, okay, you know what? It's my battle scar. Mm-hmm. But half of me was like, I don't want surgery, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want surgery.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like, whatever you guys decide is okay with me. Like, if you guys decide that I need surgery, we'll do it. But if you guys decide that we shouldn't have surgery, then we won't do it. They go out the room, they speak, and they come back, and they're like, you know what? And I was telling God, I was like, God, are you really answering me right now? When they're outside talking. They come back in. They're like, we think it's best for you not to have surgery because it's healing on its own.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, dude, yes. So like that half of me that didn't want it was more of like, I really don't want it, you know? And
Yeah.
they're like, but we're gonna monitor. You're gonna come back in a month, and we're gonna check it again, and then you're gonna come back in a month after, and we're gonna evaluate.
Check again, yeah.
And everything is healed, and then that's good.
What happened to the pockets of air?
Pockets of air, they were gonna pop on their own, but they were gonna disintegrate on themselves.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
I think
So instead of pop, they just kind of like slowly get absorbed by your body.
Correct.
Somehow.
So what had happened was because this one had popped, because obviously the motion that I did, right? So anything else, they were like, you just need to rest and
Just chill, bro.
we'll monitor everything else.
Yeah.
But the pain is still there, dude. And I remember I go back home, I can't really move, and people are still calling me, man. So to make it worse, I'm just like, dude, like,
Leave me alone.
Please.
At that point, huh?
Please, man. Like, I don't want the money no more, dude. I don't want it. And it was like that for me because I still had some things that I had to turn in. And I remember it. I was like, this is the last thing I'm getting, dude. Like, I'm done. And for me, I had a really good reputation where it was like, you can give me a whole bunch and I didn't have to pay it till I was done.
Yeah.
So when I went and I was tired, I spoke to my dad. I was like, Dad, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm tired. He's like, okay, cool. Finally, you know? They were happy.
That's funny. He's like, finally? All right.
Yeah. And dude, it was horrible. This was maybe, February, March, April. By May, I was completely done. But I went in there and I was like, dude, like I go in and turn in what I have to turn in, and they bring something else. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm good. And it was scary, dude. It was scary because I was just like I don't know what's gonna happen.
They told you weren't good. They're like, nope, you're not good, bro. You gotta take it.
Ooh. It was better than expected though, because I was like, I don't want to be this anymore. I'm gonna go a different route, but I'll leave you everything or everyone that I have, everybody that eats off of me, everybody that gets hungry, like you can feed them now.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, it's a win-win for me. Cool.
Yeah.
So that was easy. I thought it was gonna be worse.
Yeah.
But
same.
It led up to, so with the people that I started throughout the years, I was able to pave my own way. Where it was like I started becoming independent, and I still had respect for them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you were never just like locked into one group of people?
I was very smart enough to get out and not be in one place. So throughout the course, I was offered one time. They told me, and they were like, "Hey, dude, there's 40 grand on the table, but there's some people from TJ that want to meet you." So this is where you have to be very, very smart. So remember in the beginning, I told you I was very grateful of where I landed because they're very family oriented.
Yeah.
But there was people that they knew, and they don't know this, but they knew, friends of them, that they were offering me jobs, and they wanted me for them because I was a money making machine, brother. Like,
yeah,
you needed something, I'm just like boom, 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 boom,
you
boom,
get
boom.
it done.
Everybody knew.
Yeah.
And I remember that they would offer me money, dude, and even people were like, dude, like, you don't even have to tell them, like, just come work for me and make this money on your side, and then make theirs, pay them, and then just pay you. And I was like, dude, like, this is how shady it is. Like, I'd rather just work for myself.
Yeah.
You know, so throughout the years, I was able to become independent. It was maybe 2 or 3 years that I was with them, and then after that, like, I was able to pave my own way. But it's even then, like, if I'm grabbing something from you, you're supplying me, there's still that concern of, like, okay, why are you leaving now? You know, are you gonna throw me under the bus now?
Yeah.
So there's always that concern of, like, because you really can't trust anybody, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
and they already know everything. They know all names. They know locations.
The TJ people knew who I was. One time I just went to go eat, bro, at a restaurant. I kid you not, I got followed in Mexico. I was like, dude, if I'm gonna die, I'm not dying here. Let's go back to the border. We booked it to the border. We're like, If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die in U.S. soil. I ain't dying in Mexico. But they know who you are, right? A lot of people know who you are, who you're with. Until this day, one time, one of the guys that I went to church with when I was younger, we met at a men's camp. He was like, I heard about what you were doing. I was like, bro, I haven't seen you in like 25 years. What are you talking about?
How do you know?
He's like, I know everything. And I was like, damn, dude, that's insane. So there was obviously, yeah, you're right. They know everything about you. They know how many people live in your house. They know things that you're just like, damn, bro. You have a camera in my room? What the heck? But it's a very scary life, dude. So up until that time, like I was more independent than I was with them. But I still, like, if there was parties, we would still hang out. Like, you still had respect for these people. But the person that I was grabbing stuff from, our relationship was good, but it was very new still. Where it was like we had mentioned, or he had talked to me about a situation he had where they did him dirty, and now there was things that had happened. So for me, it was like in the back of my head, I was like, dude, if anything happens, let it happen to me, not to my family, you know. So I went in there like shooting bricks. I was scared, and I prayed to the Lord. I was like, God, whatever you decide is okay with me. If you decide that this is the last day I'm living, good, because I'm out already. Like I just don't want to be part of this life anymore. Like I don't want to be part of it anymore. So if you decide for me to not be living anymore, it's a win-win for me. I'm not part of this anymore. You know. But if you allow me to stay and not be part of it, great. Like I again, I told you I was gonna return to church. I'll return to church. So, yeah, man, he was very respectful, and to this day, I'm very grateful. And he was like, yeah, man, go. I was like, damn, dude, God, you are great. I was scared for no reason.
You were like, I'm not asking any questions. I'm leaving.
I'm gone.
Bye, bro.
I'm gone.
I ain't letting you think about nothing.
2021, 2022, you know, I start returning to church, and this problem of cocaine didn't leave till a couple of months after, because you're still dealing with it. Like, I went from having so much money to doing cocaine whenever I wanted to now having to work and having to pay for it and wasting all my money on the cocaine, because I still have to, like, son. I still have to fill this void that I have, you know? Yeah. And it was insane, man. And I've been at church ever since. I returned to church, but it's been a process, man. I remember in the beginning, before even I was part of ministry, like I would show up like hungover, dude, because like I needed, like it was, how can you go from every single day to just stopping? Cold turkey is hard, man. Oh yeah. And it was insane, dude. But the Lord has worked in me, and he's, again, when he put me in this position of youth leader, now I understood that people are looking up to you, right? And you have to have this image of, at least a clean image, right? There's things that you can't be part of anymore. But for a long time, man, it was hard. It was hard to understand that my Fridays were at church. It was hard to understand that Saturday mornings I was going to go help out, give food to the homeless. When Friday nights I was out in the clubs or out in the hotels with music and girls, and now I'm over here praying. Like, how do you transition to that? It was hard.
This is literally two different lives, bro.
Insane. And this is, I'm telling you, man, what God has done in my life it's only a reflection of his mercy and his grace over anyone. Do I deserve to be alive? Absolutely not, man. Do I deserve to be out free? Absolutely not. But because of God's grace and mercy, I am. And I was given this second chance to be where I'm at now. I mean, I returned to Cerritos College to study, right? And I did culinary arts.
Nice. But that's fucking dope.
Yeah, man. I was able to graduate, which is insane. I went back to school, dude. You know, it's like, what? But now I'm at Biola as a transfer student.
What are you studying at Biola?
Theology.
That was gonna be my guess. That was my guess.
So now I'm like the Apostle Paul. If we know a little bit about the Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul was someone who would get paid, right, to kill Christians, right? His life was completely different as to when he said yes to Jesus. So I like to compare my life with his in the aspect of, for a long time I lived for the world, right? I lived for myself. I lived for anything that I wanted. But the moment that I said yes to Jesus, Jesus did this miraculous. But is it a 180?
180.
Because 360 is the same thing, right?
Yeah, 360 puts you right back in the same spot.
So he did a whole 180 in my life, and he has me where he has me now. And to make this better, my tuition. So private universities are expensive, dude.
Yep.
Biola is university for a semester is $25,000. I only have to pay like $3,500 or $4,000.
Let's go.
Because I'm in scholarships. I was
Hell
like,
yeah.
dude, what?
Hell yeah.
And that's only because I'm a transfer in spring. They're like, for fall, your scholarships should be a lot higher, and you shouldn't have to be. If you're in a position, you might not even have to pay for anything. And I was like, only God can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, dude, like till this day, if I tell you, so if we put it in the amount, and if the IRS is hearing, I mean,
this is all hypothetical.
It's hypothetical.
These are stories that were made up today.
Yeah, I was clearing maybe with the shop and with that maybe like 1 to 1.5K a day. Damn. As a 19-year-old, 20-year-old. So we're talking about good amount of money. You know?
It was just you, huh?
Just me, baby.
Damn. So like what, weekly, anywhere from like 8 to 10?
Yeah.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
That's fucking
insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I went, my first check was about like $500. My first official check, $500, and I was like, "How do you go from so?"
Did you look at the amount of hours and you were like, "What the fuck, dude?" Like the hours to the pay, and you're just like,
"This is whack,
bro. Yeah.
This is whack." It's been a struggle, man. I leading up to maybe this last year, I would tell myself, I was like, "Man, I got nothing," but then I would remind myself that I have the most valuable thing, which is first and foremost is you have your soul, because brother, like. At that time, if you came up to me and you were hungry, I'll eat in front of you.
Damn.
Does that make sense?
Crazy work. Yeah.
Because my mind and my heart and my soul were they weren't there. And now, that's the thing I say. It's like I'm able to feel.
Yeah.
Like I'm able to understand a lot of emotions that I had just brushed off because I lived in this mindset of like, I know I'm gonna die. So for me, I remember I would tell my mom, and that girl that I was dating, the one that helped me out a lot, I had a stash, dude. And in this stash, my mother knew where it was at, for one purpose that I would tell her. And you live in this mindset of you're gonna die. It doesn't matter. But I remember, and I told this to my mother, and I told this to this girl, and I was like, the day that I die, I only ask for one thing. The funeral's paid already. The money's there. I'm telling this to my mother and this girl that I'm supposed to marry. Mm-hmm. The funeral's paid. Money's there. I ask one thing. I just ask that you guys bring me music when they're going to bring me down. That's how you want to go. And that's the mindset that a lot of us had. Like, if we die, in Spanish we say, si me entierran, que me entierren con la banda. You know? That's the mindset that I had. So, if I thought about that low of myself, the way I thought about people was far less.
Yeah.
Right? So, these last 3 years have been insane. And I've learned to, again, be able to understand who I was in the Lord. And be able to feel things that I've never felt. Being patient with people. And I couldn't have landed at a better spot. These youth, man, I'm just like... But then again, the reason behind everything was I never wanted them, or till this day, I don't want any of them to ever step into the places that I stepped into. Mm-hmm. Because the damage that you cause to yourself, the damage you cause to families, to people, it's insane, man. You start seeing everybody just as an ATM. And for me, if you weren't making me money,
you didn't matter.
I didn't care about you.
Yeah. Why should I waste my breath?
Yeah. And on to the next one.
That's crazy, bro.
Insane.
I don't think I've ever fully put thought to or even understood how much living that type of lifestyle could skew your perception of reality. Because I've never thought about like how you go from I'm holding, I've got the cash, I don't have to worry about nothing, to now I'm getting a paycheck and I still want to go and get some.
It's insane, man. It was bad.
It's
Yeah.
You've got to see both sides of the coin.
Both sides, dude.
It's crazy, man.
It's
I'm flabbergasted.
I told you we're gonna have fun, man.
Dude.
Yeah, so it's, and I as much as I give credit to God, because God deserves all the credit, I always like to give credit to both of my parents as well. My parents, so that night that they stayed at church when I was at the hospital, it took me a while to understand it, but I understood that there were no place for them to be able to do anything. The only one that could do it was God. But they were able to do one action that was allowing me to be protected no matter where I was their prayers. So because of my parents' prayers, God listened, because I wasn't praying. Mom and dad were 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I'm in Mexico or I'm in wherever I was. They were praying, and because of their actions, God listened. So as much as I give credit to God, I love God. He's above everything for me. But after them, or after him, is my parents. And that's another thing that I've learned, how to be able to respect my parents to a different level. Because again, nobody could tell me anything, dude.
Yeah.
And I was never home. So if you didn't want me at my house, well, good for me. I'm going to go party.
Yep.
But now I'm just like, Mom's like, take out the trash. I'm like,
all right,
let's do it. You know, it's completely different, dude. And it's insane. And I mean, I'm grateful that they're able to see who I am now. And a lot of people have seen it. And I know a lot of my friends have seen it because they've told me. Sorry. But yeah, man, night and day. And who would have thought, man, that it'd be at a 4-year, almost everything paid off, and having a second chance to basically just live. Just live, and it's been a great experience.
Live and show the youth how not to live.
How not to live.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I would say you're probably one of the best people to do it too, because you're not just somebody that's going to tell them not to do stuff. You've lived the life and you're working to be a better person. So it's not just, you're not just preaching to them all the time, do this, do this, do this. You're showing them by example. That's something that a good handful of years ago, probably like 2019, I was on a camping trip with Alex and 2 girls, my friend Leslie and then Alex's girlfriend at the time. And his ex and Leslie were complaining about the hike. And I was like, you guys complain too much. Just like pick your head up. You're just staring at your feet. Look around, enjoy the grass, like breathe the air, look at all the sights, this and that. And Alex, he just like from behind me, he goes, stop telling people how to live their lives. You're annoying. And I was just like, man, fuck you.
It's gonna be annoying.
So, yeah. I stopped talking and I put my head down like all frustrated and I just walked. I was like, fuck you guys then. But because I sat and I pondered on that thought, I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. I should stop telling people what to do or how to live their lives. I should just live my life the way I'm telling them to do it. And then they can see me. And if they want to do better, then they can. And if not, then
yes, sir,
that's on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've, man, if I was one of them youth kids, I'd be happy you were my leader for sure.
Well, interesting enough, I think they know. So they know a little bit about my testimony. They don't know up to the extent, because I think you have to be very, very cautious.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was...
Well, it can kind of be glorifying.
That's one of the things.
Dude, during those stories, I was like, man, I've dreamt of this stuff. Come on, dude. How good was it?
Yeah.
So,
and not only that, man, it's again, we're there to shape them, right? We're there to allow them to be successful. So if they see someone, and this is what, because I was able to give part of my testimony, and but it was more of like the drugs that I used, right? Because I've used for everything basically.
Quick side interjection. What's been your favorite?
Cocaine.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
It was just great, man. It was just, listen, I would say this. If I can eat through my nose, I would. It's just that, like, feeling of it going through your nose, or just like, yeah, this feels cool.
I understand.
Yeah.
I never got to cocaine, but I did start snorting Fruit Loops.
Oh.
I would crush up Fruit Loops. I did it once as a joke because, again, like, I told my friends, I was like, I'm telling you, as soon as I can, fucking. But like I knew I was never going to, because my doctor told me like I would die. But for the joke, I was like, I've been training my sniff.
Yeah.
I would tell him, like, bro, if we got a line right here, like, bro, I'm ready. I'm training. And then we're in fifth period. Two of my best friends are sitting next to me, and one of the chicks at the table, she has Fruit Loops, and she's just like smashing them one by one. And I was like, "You're not gonna eat those?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Nah, I don't really like Fruit Loops." And I was like, "Can I have them?"
Yeah.
She was like, "Are you gonna eat them or what?" And I was like, "Yeah, they're Fruit Loops. They're good." She's like, "All right, I like that pen you were using earlier." And I was like, "Sure." I gave her the pen, and then my buddy's looking at like the powder inside, and he goes, "Hey, you always want to do cocaine, right?" And I was like, "Yes." And he goes, "Why not practice with the Fruit Loops?" And I was like, "Oh, of course." So like thinking it was the joke. So I did like a little bump, like, right?
Yeah.
And just for jokes. And literally, it was end of period. We got out and we're walking, and I'm like, "Oh, like I'm jittery." And I was like, "Oh, sugar rush." It's like, "Oh, interesting." So I could put sugar in my nose and it'll give me a little sugar rush. The next day, she had more Fruit Loops, and I was like, "I got another pen. Do you want it?"
Yeah. And
she was like, "Yes." So then, bro, like a fiend, I started smashing it up. My friends are looking at me. I was like, "Fuck it." I pulled out my ID card. I started cutting. I made a line, a fucking full thing. And they were like, "You actually get some?" I was like, "Fuck yeah." I feel the sugar rush. And then my nose started to really hurt the next couple days. Yeah. You're not supposed to put Fruit Loops in your nose.
I don't think so.
No, I sneezed out like this fat fucking glob of like brown and blackish green muck, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't put Fruit Loops in my nose anymore, man. And that was my run of putting stuff in my nose. So I get it; it was fun. I did Crystal Light too. I think that was the first thing I put in my nose. Crystal Light in like middle school.
Okay, what is that?
You don't know what Crystal Light is?
No.
So Crystal Light is like a sugar-free lemonade packet that you fucking put in a water bottle and you mix it up.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a white powder. So like you open it and you're like, hey, cocaine. And it burns because it's lemonade. It's got like fucking lemon citrate or whatever in it. So I did that one. That one really fucking burned. Didn't do shit for me. But then the Fruit Loops, a little bit of sugar high. So I was like, haha, I'll do that again. And then big rotten glob. And I was like,
never
all right, maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, man, for me, it was because I was just around it all the time. It was just very accessible for me. And it basically, like, the cost for me was little to nothing. Yeah. Whether if I was able to make money off of it, for me, it was nothing, man. And I remember the first time I paid for it out of my pocket. I was like, y'all charging this much? And they're like, yep, that's what it is. And I would still get hooked up, right? Because like, if I would still go to my friends, they're like, it's you, dude. Like, I got you.
Yeah.
But you still have to pay for it. And I'm like, damn, dude, this is like, it's like 3-4 hours of work, man. This is not, the math ain't mathin'.
Yeah, bro.
You know, and
do a shift for a bump. It's crazy.
It's insane. But yeah, man. So the youth, yeah, they know a bit. Again, I just have to be very careful because one of the things. When I was able to share that testimony of everything that I used, I wanted to share everything else, but they told me, and I went to a leader, and she was like, you have to be cautious in the aspect of they can put themselves in your shoes and they can themselves say, I can go and do everything he did and then come back and God will allow me to come back to church, which logically, it just doesn't work like that. Like you can get stuck there and stay there forever. So that's the thing where we want to avoid, which is like the mindsets, right? So like with the young adults, I'm able to share more. But with the youth, it's like, okay, I'm not going to go.
They're too young.
They're too young, man. They're not going to understand. And especially now, I think with this whole aspect of like these shows that come out, which like these narco series, it's engraved in their head already, man. And if they find
that highly glorifies,
it glorifies it a lot.
Focuses on the good parts of it. Well, the good parts and the really bad parts.
But the bad parts, they don't show the bad parts, man. The bad parts
not
are
as
really
bad as it can be. That's bro. Fucking. The first time I saw a beheading, I was 13, and my dad asked if I wanted to see something cool, and I said yes. And then it was a dude tied up and a guy with the chainsaw fucking, and I was like, what just happened? And then my dad was like, oh, let me start it from the beginning. He goes, look, those two guys are from a cartel, and then this guy that's tied up, he was working in their cartel for another cartel, and this and that, and this is the message they're sending to the other people. And I was like, what?
So one of my cousins, I don't know the lineage of how or from what I know, it's part of our family was involved with stuff like this prior. So there's always like that like lineage of spiritual like connections that happen with it, right? But I do have one cousin, and he's no longer with us, but he himself got he ended up in a body bag, man, and they cut him up, and the only way or the only reason why we weren't there, this happened in Mexico. The only way they were able to tell that it was him was because of a specific tattoo. But they were looking for him for about a week or two. Nobody found him, and he was very social. But everybody knew that he was with people, right? And if I remember correctly, he was consuming more than he was returning.
Ooh.
And it was 1 or 2 weeks. Nobody found him, and then they dropped him off in the road in a bag. Boom! Everything was chopped up, and we found him like that, man. So it gets very bad, and like for me, even when we speak about it, right? For me, like all of this is for some weird reason, it's normal, and it shouldn't be normal, right? And that's where I have to be very cautious on how I speak on it, because for me, it's I'm just like, just another day at the office, man.
Yeah, you desensitized already.
A lot.
You're used to it. That was life.
Yeah, but now again, like we're talking like how I'm learning how to feel again, right? There's times where I'm just like, oh, that was bad that I did that. That was pretty bad, you know. And there's feelings that come back. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is not good. But for a long time, everything was just normal. My friends going to prison was normal. My friend, I have one friend who I don't know where he's at anymore, and I would love to know where he's at, but I know it's not my spot to know. And I've been able to be okay with, it's just, if he's here, he's alive. If he's not, that's just part of the game. And speaking like that is
Dude, it's a little.
It is.
It's a little wild. Like,
does that make sense?
Like, so, I get it, because like, yeah, that's life. People come and they go. If you haven't seen him in a while, you hope he's good. But if he's dead, that you can't do anything about it. But like, to move through it, I'm going to use, I don't know if this is the correct word or if it'll match how you feel, but like, I see it as like nonchalant. It's like, you could just say, and he might be dead, and you know, that's what it is. It's like, man, because you say that it's just not my friend, but I'm thinking like, well, one of my friends, I think I shared, he hit me up and he was like, yeah, I'm alive. I wasn't avoiding you. Yeah. So for me, I was just like, oh, I had that same thought. I'm like, I hope he's good. I don't know where he is, but fingers crossed. But like, I think about it, like for me, I have a little bit of worry. So I can't imagine what you've fully experienced that has led you to be this desensitized or to have to become accustomed to those types of feelings. Yeah,
I know. And it's not normal. I'm telling you again, I'm learning how to feel again. I'm learning how to be in these positions and be like, okay, dude, like maybe we should, but it's if you think about it, the life that I lived, it was 6 to 7 years. I've only been out of it 4 years, so I'm still unlearned, and I've unlearned so much.
Barely half.
And there's still much that I am unlearning, and I'm gonna continue to unlearn, and yeah, that's one of the things that I think for a while was scary, dude. It was scary to be able to feel, because I didn't know, and
would your emotions make you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, because there was only one emotion.
What was it? What would you feel so often?
We gonna die. We gonna die. That's it.
Interesting.
That's it. That's all it was.
Like you were just anticipating a death. Interesting.
Yeah.
Did it feel like anxiety? Or different than that?
I don't know. I think for me, I got in a place where I was comfortable already.
Yeah.
Where it was in the beginning, yes, for sure. But it got to a point where it was like, I've lived life already. At that time, I thought I lived life, because apparently everything you do, you feel like you've lived life. I'm like, if I go now, it's okay. What else am I supposed to enjoy? Not knowing that there's so much more to life than just that, you know?
Yeah.
But up until that time, I felt like I had lived everything, man. Like, I did everything that I wanted.
Can I ask, when you were in those 6 to 7 years, what's like the darkest that you got to experience of that side? Or for the most part, did you get to kind of like stay away from any like really bad situations, and it was more so just like you around the conversation?
So for me, I was a money guy.
Okay.
And if anything would mess with my money, I didn't want to be part of it. Just being part of that life, again, it's like you mentioned, it's just part of conversation sometimes.
I see.
Or sometimes it's a family member, and you just happen to be there. But for me, it was, I got to experience some things that I think I would never want to experience ever again. And I also got in positions where, because of people I was around with, they assumed that I was also part of that. So there was people that were very, very bad and took that step of like, they would go to your house, and if you owe the money, if you don't pay, something's going to happen.
Like old school collectors.
Or there was some people, again, that you just knew things would happen, and we just knew that it was just part of a life, man. And for me, I was a money man.
It's different part of the game that you get to see, or I guess stay in.
Yeah.
Do you think being a money man protected you from a lot of stuff?
Absolutely, because
you were valuable.
I think so, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're a money guy and you're making money,
and it's the thing, right? Like, everybody makes mistakes, and I think one of the mistakes that I would make was, when I was on it, like, I would probably say some things I shouldn't say, and when it would irk some people, but they knew the value that I was bringing to them, that they were like, all right, just
let it slide.
Yeah. You know, I think. And the thing here is, I always respect everybody above me too, man. I never overstepped. I never wanted, and I think that's one of the things I learned. It was, you always have to have loyalty and respect, and that would keep you safe from a lot of things. And if you never overstepped, and you never wanted to take anybody's position, because in this game, man, I had one friend who put me in a position where I was like, okay, what's gonna happen to me right now? And after that, I'm like, don't even come near me, bro. Like, it got to a point where there was a transaction, and he, in sort of words, set me up, right? Someone I trusted, someone that was rolling with me, someone that if someone needed something, I'd send you.
Yeah.
And he himself to the point where we just didn't want to partake with him at all. He had to go his own route, and stories that I would hear from him, they were like, oh, there was people that came and knocked at his house now because he did people dirty.
Yeah.
So for myself, no one ever came knocking at my house. No one ever came over. There was quote unquote a protection. So there was an instance where we used to work at the swap meet with my parents when we were younger, and they have a big like U-Haul white truck, and they tagged it up, and people knew that I lived there, and my house was not to be touched.
Yeah.
And I remember that I mentioned it to someone. They're like, "Okay, we're gonna call him." They called him over, and they're like, "Hey, dude." They called the person that tagged up. They got the name, and they're like, "You can't do this." And they explained to him, and I was like, "Okay, never happened again." But it all, and I agree with it. It was because I was valuable because they were making money as well. Yeah, man, but it's just crazy, man.
On the word of value, something that I'm going to say something that I'm speculating from talking to people is that there is a value on the soul or the person, whatever it is that we are, for good and evil, because you can do so much good for people when you step into God and follow what he wants you to do and stick to the plan, do all the right things, right? But again, there's a battle between good and evil. And if you're a strong character, you're a good player, both teams want you.
Brother, you hit it on the dot, man. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that. I still get offers till this day, man.
That's crazy.
Till this day.
It's crazy.
I've had people come up to me and I'm just driving and they're just like, this is people who are willing to give their life for you. And one time I was driving around and I stopped by and they're like, hey, we're here. You got your soldiers here. I was like, brother, I'm not even part of this no more, you know?
Crazy, bro.
Like, whatever you need. And I'm
just like, ready,
yeah.
bro.
And I was like, what? Dude, like, but there's because there's different ways. Like, there's organizations, or they have structure, dude. And there's people who are just people there to do the dirty work. They don't have the mind to be anywhere else. And there's people that run the whole thing, and there's people that run them. So, yeah, man. At least in the beginning, now I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy with what God has done. So
that's good.
I think that battle is far away now. But in the beginning, it was more of like, and the biggest thing was, I'm making $500, dude, on a paycheck. Like I can go back and I can do this and I can do.
Stop worrying about it. Yep. I'll have money.
But I gave God my word, dude.
Yeah.
And he took me out of that hospital and he healed me and no, I can't. And I won't, dude. I won't go back. Very simple. 2022 to 2023. I'm sorry. No. So mid 2022 to mid 2023. From 2021 in May, when I started working, I was making paychecks. Good, fine, I'm making money. I work in downtown LA. I was working in the kitchens, and they didn't have hours for me. So I was like, dude, I'm gonna quit. Like, I'm driving to downtown LA. I don't need this. Nobody would hire me because I was now part of ministry. Right now, I have to be there Fridays and Sundays, so I can't work in the kitchen. They need me in the weekends. They want me there. I'm not gonna work a warehouse because nobody's hiring me in a warehouse. God hit my soul, brother. He said, "Wait, I ain't done with you. I'm gonna flip you." The most humiliating part for me, for a long time, was the money that I wasn't making anymore. But now, I wasn't making any money, but I needed money. This is whack, bro.
Yeah, what a reality flip, huh?
Hold on, it gets worse. I had to apply for unemployment. So I went from making all this money to being on government assistance, dude.
Yeah.
That was the worst thing in my entire life.
Talk about an ego hit, huh?
Dude.
Mr. Big man with all the money asking government, huh?
And government said yeah. Government said yeah. So I was like
fine.
I was like, I have to take it.
Yeah.
And EDD, man. And God was like, I ain't done with you yet. We're going to get rid of all that. I had to learn to not be able to buy myself a pair of shoes when I wanted to. I had to... My biggest thing was I could eat at any restaurant that I wanted.
Yeah.
I would eat out every day. That was my greatest thing. I could eat out.
Mm-hmm.
Now it was like, you're not even going to eat out, dude. You're going to stay home. So for a whole year, my whole life was just going to church and saving money.
Damn.
And not being able to spend, not being able to buy anything. I could not buy. One time, my mother was like, Mom, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, can you buy me a burger? She's like, you don't have money? I was like, no. Like, I really don't have money. And she's like, what about the money that's coming in? I was like, dude, I still have bills to pay. And she's like, okay, I'll buy you a burger. Most humiliating part of my entire life. And now I say it a little bit more with, God's funny, man. God works in funny ways.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, he fucking does.
Just imagine, dude. I gotta go EDD card, take out the money from Bank of America, because at that time it was B of A.
Mm-hmm.
For making all of this to dog, man, it was whack.
Yeah.
I bought my first pair of shoes, which is the ones I have on right now.
Nice.
After 2 years. I bought them like last Wednesday.
Damn.
I was like, yes, dude. I was like, yes, sir.
When's the last time you had that feeling?
A long time, man.
Yeah.
It was good. It felt good. It felt good to buy something. Because back then, even shopping, dude, was more of like I'm upset. I'm going to go shop. I'm going to feel happy.
Yeah.
And then just drop it again. But this time it was like, okay, I saved up money. Like, I saved up some money so I can buy it. Now it feels good, you know?
You're like, I'm almost there. This heel is busted already. I can't wait till them new shoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It's God is crazy, man. And he continues to work. Again, so this whole transition to Biola, even though now that I'm there, like I'm able to enjoy the experience of just being there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And everything that I went through led to be where I'm at. Because Biola has, most of these are white kids whose parents have a lot of money, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I see them and they're like walking all like, boom, I'm the man. And I'm just like, I'm just like, God, that was me, huh? He's like, yep, that was you before. And I'm grateful that everything that I went through led me to be where I am at today, because there's this, I would say, God has humbled me, right? And there's this humbleness that you need to have, especially in ministry, dude, where you need to understand that, again, going back to how we talked about earlier, everybody is different, right? And I'm able to understand that kid who thinks he's a thing. And maybe one day he's going to need help.
Yep.
But maybe he irks someone else because they're both on the same page in who's going to be there. Right? So, God has humbled me, man, insanely. And I used to think another thing, I used to get haircuts every week. Every week, bro. I used to get haircuts sometimes twice a week. So I have it on a Monday, and then on Friday I'll have it so I can be fresh for the weekend.
Extra crisp all the time.
Yeah, dude. I get a haircut every month now. Once a month, dude. And my hair like... But now, thank the Lord, I have a job where I can get a haircut every 3 weeks.
Nice.
Oh, I'm just like, that's a battle won right there, Lord.
Yep.
But that's what he does, man. He's humbled me to be where I'm at today, and I wouldn't change it, dude. I wouldn't change it.
That's amazing.
God is good, baby.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
God is good. Yeah, man.
Dude, it's been I absolutely fucking love your story, because like it all makes sense, because I only got to see you in like brief periods of time, but I got like the outside story.
Yes, sir.
So, like, I'm not gonna say I could tell like fucking something was going on in your life. I just knew like, okay, well it was more of like, oh, we're getting through some stuff right now.
Yeah.
But like in my mind, I was like, oh, you know, business is slow, and you know, you probably don't have as many people walking through your door right now because we're struggling a little bit too. So it's like that's what I was thinking. I was like, it's getting through it. You've always been like a super fucking chill dude, and like always very helpful. Which is funny that you say like it humbled me a lot, because I always saw you as a humble dude. You never walked around like chest flared out, or maybe it was just because of like the time that we met, and that's so like that persona just kind of carried through when you would come to see us or what it was. But like, you handled your shit very well, I'll tell you that, because I would have never guessed it. But it makes a lot of sense, because there's that saying, it takes a lot of anger to make a peaceful man. So, or a lot of war to make a peaceful man, something like that. But yeah,
I agree, man.
I'm very happy that you're at a place where you're now happy and safe, more than anything, fucking out of any shady stuff.
Yes,
and
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't have to look over your shoulder no more. That's good.
I can sleep, man.
Yeah. It's important. It's important.
I can take naps. I was like, I need a nap, dude. I'll take a nap, you know? I don't have to worry about anything. But yeah, man. The Lord is amazing. And yeah.
That's great.
Yes, sir.
What's your plan to move the youth, or like moving forward with ministry and a youth group and young adults and all that stuff?
So for the youth, we're very active with the youth. I think the youth has been solidified. And one of the things is that we started a project last year. It's called a Freedom Youth Service, where we allow the youth themselves to flourish, to have an opportunity. This last service we had, it was in, I think it was in October. Or I'm sorry, it wasn't October. Yeah, it was October. And it was ran by youth. Like, we were there. We built a program, and we
like set up the infrastructure.
But it was just the youth.
Yeah.
And that's what I talk about, making church fun, giving them a place where they can flourish themselves. So we had 3 worship bands, and all of the worship bands, they were all youth. There were 3 different churches. Yeah. 3 different churches. And we had 2 youth who gave their testimony from different churches. And then we had some other youth help with like the games that we have for the youth. And then the word was a youth.
Wow.
So it's a beautiful thing in how a lot of people say empowerment, right? I just think it's just giving them the opportunity to be who they're going to be. And that's what we have right now for the youth, is continuing that same structure that we've had to allow the youth to, they themselves minister to each other, and they themselves find who they're going to be. Maybe being on the worship team is not going to be you. Maybe you're going to be behind the scenes. Maybe you're going to be on the audio. Maybe you're going to be setting up. Like, whatever situation or place that you're going to fit in, this is the place to find
whatever ticks with you, you know? Everybody's going to like different things. I love that, dude. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yes, sir.
If people wanted to get involved and we're looking for a place to go or help out, how can they find you, reach out, get a hold of the group? Or
absolutely. So on Instagram, we're under Freedom Youth Service. That's it.
Dope.
Freedom Youth
No
Service.
dots or underscores, just
No
Freedom
dots.
Youth Service.
Yes, sir.
Love that.
That's where we're at, and all of my info's in there as well. So if anybody wants to check it out, we're there. But then we put all the other churches that are with us there as well. So if anybody needs a church in Pasadena, we have a church in Pasadena, a church in where's Six Flags? That's
Valencia,
I
think so.
So there's a church over there. There's a church in Hawaiian Gardens. There's a church in Long Beach, one in Buena Park, one in Anaheim. So
nice.
If anybody needs a place, man, just reach out and we'll set you guys up in the correct place.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
I really love what you're doing, dude. It puts a big smile on my face. Yeah, I'm a big fan. We're coming up to tomorrow, so let's wrap this puppy up.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Yes, sir.
This is the podcast. Our final question here. You shared a lot already.
Yes, sir.
But during your period of time on this earth, what's something that you've learned that's helped you live a better life?
Just be grateful, man. Be grateful with the opportunities we have. Be grateful to be able to wake up daily. Be grateful to be able to spend time with your family, whether it's just a small meal, coffee with dad or mom, and be grateful because not everybody has that. And if you have it, you're very lucky. And if be grateful for the Lord, man. Be grateful for Jesus himself and his grace in our lives.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
I love that. It's true. We forget to be grateful for all the things that we have.
Yes, sir.
Josiah, it's been a fucking pleasure, dude.
Yes, sir.
It was a great time.
Thank you for
And
having me.
I owe you tacos now.
Ooh.
So you got to come back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you for
Anytime.
having me.
It was an absolute pleasure. You're welcome anytime.
Yes,
It was great having you. Good night, everybody.